absurd basis underpinning your reasoning that goes
Lemon,
back to this gravity thing.
Lemon,
So because
no.
of your
I
questionable
don't need
reasoning,
a
I'm
reason
gonna have to
for an
kill you, sir.
observation.
Wait, are you
These
understanding? Man,
observations are
listen, bro.
beyond
Hey,
reasoning.
bro, listen. You're making the observation of downward acceleration. No one disputes that, man. What's in contention is your cause claim of that effect. So if you then isolate and point out the effect over and over, saying, "Look, this proves my claim of the cause," that isn't sufficient, bro. We know that things fall down. We're trying to figure out what the cause of that is. You're claiming the cause of the effect of downward acceleration.
Now the cause is observed as mass causes it.
No, you have either Einstein bending of space-time, or you have mass attracting mass. Which is it? Which I've been asking all day long.
I have acceleration with the observation, and then I have.
Talk about the
Yeah, which one is it?
The cause is the bending of space-time.
Okay, so you agree then that the effect of downward acceleration actually substantiating the cause claim, those are two different things. We know that the effect happens, but you're going to have to substantiate the cause. So just saying, look, things fall at 9.8 meters per second squared and agreed upon average doesn't actually prove your cause claim, right?
No, the causality, the proven correlation proves the.
Wait, what's the proven correlation?
Oh, there is. That's
what is
a
it?
simple thing.
How'd you prove it?
Because there is, I can calculate it in advance. That's how it's a proven correlation.
No, see, the calculation is actually derivative of the observation. So when they saw
that's not true.
Okay,
That's
so we've got an
true.
echo.
What is not true? What are you talking about?
I'm telling you that it's not true. That the measurement of acceleration, right, isn't circular.
Okay, yeah. So we looked at the measurement of the observation of downward acceleration. We have an agreed upon average. It's not even consistent value. It's just an agreed upon average of 9.8 meters per second squared. Now, in order to get the math for, I don't know, maybe general relativity, if you guys actually want to claim what your model says, then they used this observation, right, to make sure that they made the calculations based upon that. That's a fact.
No, that's not true. So the observation is acceleration.
Yes, that's what I just said.
Right. And so the law is Newton's laws of motion.
No.
Those are the laws. They're based on observation.
All right, hold on.
That's how laws work.
No.
Hold on, let me just check this. So, okay, it was sorted.
Newton's laws have been debunked, dude.
They actually haven't. So that's just not true. They are a special.
Okay, does Newton's laws work on the quantum scale?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay. So if Newton's laws don't work on the quantum scale, they can't actually be laws, right? Because a natural law, it applies to all scales. So
the point is that we have the laws, right? And they're extended in general relativity. Newton's laws are special cases of relativity, right? And relativity is known to be inconsistent with quantum mechanics, and people are developing theories about that.
So then it's an insufficient law because it doesn't adequately describe and explain phenomena on all scales.
So the best we have isn't perfect. Okay.
Not even close. Not even close because on the quantum. No, it's the best you have because you're trying to explain a phenomenon that doesn't exist, which is omnidirectionality on a ball.
The phenomenon exists. The law.
No, you didn't listen to what I said. You're trying to explain a phenomenon that doesn't exist, which is omnidirectionality on a ball.
That's not the phenomenon that's observed. The phenomenon that's observed is acceleration.
Yeah, but only if the Earth is a ball where you have to explain omnidirectionality, you have to clear everything's being pulled into the center of the ball. It changes the phenomena of what's happening.
No, that's not changing the phenomenon. The phenomenon is acceleration due to uneven mass distribution.
That's a mass is actually just a quantification of matter reifying gravity itself. In addition, if something's falling to a flat plane, it's much different than omnidirectional being pulled into the center of the Earth.
No, that was just word salad. You don't know what you're talking about.
All right, Brenda, it's fine. So, you want to have a go with WITSIT? You want to say something? Thought.
I don't know about sword, but
what I do want to say, yes. Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
Oh,
relativity is... Stop that.
not you.
Relativity is not a law, it's a theory. And it
Yeah.
does seem to correlate somewhat with what we observe on a larger scale, but it doesn't
No, it
actually... Hey, WITSIT, let me finish, right? It does seem to work within solar system scale. It does not work on universe scale or galaxy scale, actually.
It actually does.
And it has some issues with quantum mechanics.
Right,
Yeah.
so it doesn't work on the quantum or cosmological scale. And actually on the local scale of the solar system, they even utilize Newtonian physics, right? That's where Kepler's laws come from. So the problem is that whenever you invoke general relativity to explain the phenomena of things falling down to the earth and you try to apply it to your entire model, it can't be accurate if it doesn't work on the small scale or the big scale. It's drastically off on the cosmological scale. It's not even close.
No, WITSIT, that's not interesting, but Newtonian mechanics is not what we use when we apply Kepler's laws. It is relativity because
But Kepler used Newtonian physics.
I was finishing a sentence.
But you're lying.
No, I'm not. Because what Einstein did was he just explained that little thing with Mercury, didn't he? The orbit of Mercury, why it was off by those degrees of minutes.
Yeah, he postulated a theoretical conceptual abstraction to explain a phenomena, but it has no evidence and it doesn't work on the cosmological scale. It's off drastically.
None of that is true. That was mostly words.
Yeah, let me explain it to you guys. So, okay, here's the deal. So, whenever they invoke general relativity, they're claiming that space and time bend and warp. Okay, this is about the occupancy of space and its effects being gravity. Okay, that's what general relativity is. The displacement of mass inside of space results in a gravity well because time dilates and the bending and warping of space and time. So it's a claim to the occupancy of space, but on the cosmological scale, the occupancy claim is off drastically, so much so that we've had to create 95% of it being a concept named dark matter. It's not even close. 95% of it's off.
Yeah, that is known, but Newtonian physics was further off. So
yeah, okay, so you just put a Band-Aid on a Band-Aid, and your Band-Aid is still off by 95% of the occupancy claim.
No, it is off by something we do not know, but that doesn't matter.
95% of the cosmological scale has to be dark matter for general relativity to work.
Yes, for that to be accurate on a galaxy scale, that is true, yes.
Yeah, so that means that your occupancy claim of general relativity is off by 95%.
Now, you see, I come from building, and back in the day, building was done by the master's thumb. That was the measurement.
Why are you not listening to this?
Shut up!
Listen, you
Then we figured out maybe we should have a ruler so that we can all agree what the length is. And that was, a stick cut to a specific length.
Wow.
It was more accurate, but it was still not accurate. Now I have a caliber, and it is more accurate, but, within thousands, it isn't. It gets better, okay? You have to remember that my system works largely, at least on a solar system scale, and your system doesn't work if you open the door.
Yeah, my system works everywhere.
You don't have a system.
Yeah, I do. That the Earth itself is a dielectric plane. Shut up. The Earth itself is a dielectric plane. Everything seeks equilibrium. You're still talking. Everything seeks equilibrium. Every compilation of matter is intrinsically electrostatic, and the Earth is... Yeah, you have to interrupt me because I'm just going to dismantle you right now. So stop interrupting me. The Earth's a dielectric plane. Every single compilation of matter is intrinsically electrostatic. The Earth is typically neutral. At times, it actually gathers neutral or negative charges, why we have the phenomena of lightning. So things fall down, and they're inherently electrostatic. Now, we understand how to explain the local scale. We know that the sky is just something that has movement up above us. Now, you claim, in fact, that it's an ever-expanding universe of nothingness, right, with equal dispersal in all directions relative to the Earth, but the Earth still isn't the center of everything. You claim that the lights are actually trillions of light years away. You're making specific distance and characteristic claims of what's in the sky, but yet your prediction is 95% off.
Make a prediction.
I think Chai wants
comparing theories, basically, but I would go with something electrostatic or electromagnetic because I can see blue arcs of lightning. It's very nice.
No, got a really bad echo here.
Again, yeah, WITSIT, can you make a prediction?
WITSIT, you don't have
Yeah.
a theory. You don't have a theory. Word salad isn't a theory. Talking about dielectric
Well,
is something that you don't know anything about. It's just a word that you heard that you repeat.
dielectric allows electricity to pass through it without necessarily becoming charged or electric in a way that we see blue arcing lightning. It allows
That is
electricity
entirely
through.
wrong, Lemon. So
We're
let's get
talking
back.
about
Okay.
we're talking about gravity, not electricity.
Take him off.
So everything is dielectric in that it does allow electricity through without becoming like a big, electric generator. Everything has a dielectric component or whatever.
Yes, all
So
of that
everything's
was wrong
electric
too,
enough for this
Lemon.
theory to
So let's
work.
skip that.
Yeah, so if you, hey, we get it. Brenda, your only response is ever to just say that what I said didn't make sense, and it's because you can't actually offer sufficient rebuttal. So according to the, I'm still talking though, Brenda. So according to general relativity, right, which claims the occupancy of the cosmological scale, it is off by 95%. They say that 95% of the cosmological scale has to actually be filled with dark matter. Now, this is just a mathematical construct. It's undefined. Dark meaning we don't know what it is, and matter meaning we assume that it's material. You're off by 95% of your occupancy claim, but we're the stupid ones. What a cool story.
So what's it when you say things like the occupancy of the cosmological scale? That's word salad because it's meaningless.
No, it's not meaningless.
Let's
You know,
translate it
what's
together at the big
occupying
scale.
what's occupying the cosmological scale? Which part of that's where it's out?
It can be said simply.
Scales aren't occupied.
He's saying at the big scale. It's a fancy way of saying at the big cosmic scale, at the large scale. Let's break this down together. At the large scale.
Yeah, at the large scale, you claim characteristics of what occupies it, okay, and you're off by 95%.
We have a lot of things to account for, a lot, because our math formulas aren't even getting it all. We've had it with, our philosophy and our preferred theory of gravity, and gravity is now a placeholder, effectively, for the forces that we can't catalog or measure. It's just a placeholder.
Wait. Let's say
None of that is true. None of that is true.
That's all you ever say is nuh-uh, Brenda.
All right. Can I say something?
Monkey
Brenda, stop
Sage.
jumping in unless you're going to offer sufficient specificity.
Monkey Sage, go ahead.
Yeah, let's say that is true. So how do you explain that 95% that we can't explain?
Well, what the actual scale that you claim is inaccurate. So I don't have to explain 90. Whoa. I don't have to explain 95% of that scale because I know the stars aren't trillions of light years away, and that actually we see them, but they're not there anymore, and that the sun's 93 million miles away, ball of gas in a vacuum. I don't make those stupid claims. I don't have to explain your presupposed occupancy because it isn't accurate.
Okay, so our whole basis is wrong, but you have a better one.
Falsification's independent of replacement. So I know that the sky moves over top of us. We can't independently verify the actual. Wow.
You gave a replacement. He's asking you about your replacement.
No, you didn't listen to my replacement because it went over your head. What I said was that what's in the sky cannot be independently verified or manipulated, so we certainly don't make claims to that. We can make claims to the phenomenon on the local scale, right, which is easily and sufficiently explained with electrostatics. Now, you have a problem because you're claiming the sky is something specific. You're making an additional claim that this is what the makeup of the sky is, and it's a never-expanding universe, and there's trillion...
So you
Guys,
think
you always have to interrupt me.
So you think it's electrostatics?
Electrostatics on the local scale, but I do not make claims as to the quote-unquote cosmological scale, the larger scale, what the universe is. That's what you guys do. Falsifications independent of replacement. You can't even offer a viable postulation to explain how that supposed makeup up there is or works. You can't even explain it, even mathematically yet, but somehow we're stupid because we point out that your explanation's insufficient. We don't have to replace it. We don't make claims that can't be verified. That's what your side does.
You did. You said there's no cosmological scale. Everything is local.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
Yeah, you did.
I said that, no, I said that the only thing that can be verified
Hold on.
Verified is the local scale.
Everything's local. Local sun.
No, I didn't say everything is
local Earth.
Oh, yes, but there's a firmament and there's something within it and beyond.
That you said it, you asshole.
No, I didn't. What I said was the only thing that can be verified is phenomena on the local scale. Okay,
Yeah,
we have things up above us.
Local Earth.
We have things up above us, right? That can't be verified. but you guys are the ones that make the claims about it.
Don't-
Now, what you're trying to do is
Are
just
you
run away
just
from the
ripped?
fact that you. What you're trying to do is run away from the fact that you can't sufficiently explain it. So you're trying to pivot
Hold
it
on.
back over on
I'm
us.
not
Well,
global
then you
citizen, I
explain
think.
it. No, we can't explain it because what you said
Come
and you're
on,
asking
man.
us to explain is wrong.
This isn't hard.
No, you're
To
still
you,
projecting your intellectual insecurity right
Local
now.
sun, local moon, local stars,
Everything's
everything's local. Don't save them from. He offers-
Go on,
Who said
Bearded.
it?
Have a moment.
Well, we're talking
That's
about the
it.
big scale and the small
Lemon.
scale.
Don't try to save them.
Lemon.
Woman,
Let
don't try to save
Bearded
them.
because look, everyone wants a piece of WITSIT, right? We've got to protect him. He's one of our best, and obviously tonight he's going to go
I don't
against one
care.
of our ex. So let's not
Come
overexhaust
on.
him. Go on, Bearded.
Chemo, I'd like to ask you.
You
Chemo,
should go and watch the video before he's going to get his.
Let's not derail
Chemo.
about that, Chikey. That wasn't for that.
Yeah, better go and watch it before.
All right,
Chemo, I,
Bearded.
No.
Chemo, I
Goodness
want to
sakes,
Chemo,
Bearded.
Chemo,
What is going
Chemo, I
on?
want to ask Chemo, I want to ask you a question. Chemo.
Not about me right now. We've got WITSIT here.
I want to ask you a question. He's going to WITSIT is going against who, when, and where.
Well, hopefully it's tonight against Ranty. I don't know if he's still doing it, WITSIT.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
still
where
on-
is this going to be held?
That's going to be on a agree to disagree. On
Oh,
constitutional-
that's tonight. Cool. Thank you.
But Bearded, do you wanna
Enjoy.
Bearded, you want to get back involved and address WITSIT or ask him whatever?
Oh yeah. Well, since he already claimed that everything was local, and he can't not claim everything's local, that means that if he's asked a question about something that's local on a small scale and not a cosmological scale, then he shouldn't have excuses about not having a cosmological scale, since that's what was asked.
I
Also-
don't make claims that extend beyond the verifiable parameters of the local scale of
blah, blah,
Earth.
blah.
Try to keep up.
Yeah, dome, got it. You made claims about a dome, so you obviously have no problem going that far. So local
There's a
stars,
firmament,
local moon, local sun. Yeah, see that exactly.
I don't know
Local
what's in the
stars,
firmament. I don't know
local
what's beyond
moon,
it. I
local-
can't independently verify where they are.
No one said anything about anything beyond it.
You don't know where
We're
they
just
are.
talking
You don't know
about
where they are. Stop trying to strawman me.
I didn't say that. And
Yeah, you
didn't pay
did. You're trying to
attention.
tell me what I'm saying about the stars and the sun and the moon.
said
No,
no
no, that's not how this works. That's called a
no.
straw man.
You're not listening.
Because you're straw
literally
manning.
just- You didn't listen. I didn't say the words you said I said.
Yeah, you said that I said everything was on the local scale. I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I said that we can only verify things locally, okay? And that there are claims that we cannot make because they cannot be independently verified. There's an extent of our knowledge that we have access to. But your
That's
side
assuming that
has
there
no
is
problem
more.
venturing off into fairy tale land and making claims
Hold up.
about that.
Dude, I'm
I'm
not a
pointing out
Glober.
that
This
your
doesn't
claims
help
are
you.
wrong.
This
Your
argument
claims are
doesn't
wrong.
help
Stop
you.
trying to run away from it. Stop trying to run. Your claims
I'm
of what's
not
on the
a
cosmological
Glober.
scale is wrong.
Come on, man. Why are you focused on that? People are asking you questions about your.
You're asking
local
me to start making fairy tales to replace the fairy tales everyone was told. So then, just to understand, you do
what?
agree that what they said's wrong then.
No, what's it? To begin with, firmament, that's a fairy tale. You have no evidence for it.
Well, the gravity makes a lot of cosmological claims that are unwarranted. It basically says everything forms into a sphere by gravity. That's highly unwarranted. Something that's electrostatic, at least it's seen because we can see blue arcs of electricity, and at least it's measurable. So the framework that is superior is something electrostatic, electromagnetic. I would say a background electromagnetic ether, as opposed to unseen, highly cosmological, kind of wooey gravity.
Yeah, one side of
okay,
this argument
yeah.
clearly has a lot of knowledge. The other side just has personal attacks, interruptions, straw mans, diversions. It's very obvious to the third party viewer that's honest, who's actually being honest.
Where is the dome? Where is
If
the local
anything-
dome? Where can we observe it?
Yeah, locally, that means it's accessible.
Where is it?
It's on
Locally,
Earth,
of
dude.
course
It's on
we'll
Earth.
Go there. Where is it?
On Earth.
Where?
Everywhere
I
on
didn't
Earth.
see no dome.
Okay, so yeah, the necessary antecedent to pressure is containment. We have reflective capabilities within our local scale that aren't possible with our reflective surface. We have all kinds of situations that insinuate that there's a firmament, right? But what I do know,
You
for a
have pressure
fact is
gradient.
that there isn't a vacuum next to a pressurized system
There is a
without
pressure
containment.
gradient. It's not a.
Yeah, there's a pressure gradient within the pressure, but the antecedent to pressure is
No,
containment.
the
Listen, are you
antecedent
talking?
for pressure
Are you talking?
gradient is something else,
No.
not a container.
That's called delta X. We're talking about X. You need to keep up.
Yeah, and no, we're talking about delta X because there is
No, we're not. We're
X
talking about
nowhere.
X. We're talking
There
about the
is no X.
antecedent.
There is
Do you
no
know what
X.
delta X is? Define delta X. What does that mean?
Yeah, delta X. It's the difference between X's. Now there
Okay.
is no X. There is only delta X.
Oh, so there.
So
How do you have
until
delta
you
X
have
with
the
no X?
Yeah,
Yeah, how do you have delta X with no X?
because there is a delta X.
But how do you have delta X, which is a differential in X, if you don't have X?
Well, you have X and given point. It's not everywhere. Every point have a different.
Okay, so you have X, which is the pressure, right?
Austin, maybe you have to relax.
It does not require any container.
Okay, but wait, X is the pressure, so you can't skip over and say there's no X, there's just delta X. That's retarded.
No, because if you say there is an X, like there is an X over some area or volume, that's an X. If you have a delta X, that
so what's
means
the
you
X?
have specific X for every point, not everywhere.
What's the X?
That's not an X.
Yeah, there's a change within the pressure, but we're talking about the antecedent of the
There is
pressure. You're trying to skip over and
the
presuppose the X
antecedent-
and then reify your containment claim by quantifying it. So what you're doing is conflating quantification and the antecedent.
What do you mean antecedent? What gives you-
Requirement.
What
Press
gives
against
you
that pressure, Chucky.
idea
That's the thing that you're
to
forgetting
have
about.
X, you
Don't
need a
change in
container.
pressure. You don't
Why
have
are you
a
talking
pressure without
over
a
it?
container to press against. I'm only talking over it because
Lemon,
Chucky
you
isn't
are talking
applying the
over it,
principle. He's being willfully ignorant. Chucky,
Me?
have something to
Me?
press first,
But
and then you have a
Austin,
change in pressure.
No.
okay.
Yeah, like these people are saying this man's ignoring the whole fact there's a pressure.
No,
No.
negative.
You're self-projecting it because you're ignoring the
No.
fact there has to be
Because-
X to have delta X. You have to have the
No,
pressure to have
no.
a gradient. To quantify the
The
differential in the pressure.
No,
Stop interrupting.
because-
To quantify the differential in the pressure, you have to have the pressure first.
No.
Do you know what
No.
pressure is?
Delta
What
X
is
is
the
not a
fucking
container.
pressure? You have to know what you're talking
Shut the
before
fuck up, Johnny.
say something.
Yeah,
have to
you
know
need to
what
have
is the
pressure.
What
Yeah,
is
No,
the
you
pressure?
don't. No, you don't.
Nuh-uh, that's all you got?
You don't need the pressure to have a pressure gradient.
Okay, so you don't need to have pressure to have a pressure
Gravity.
Yeah,
gradient.
the pressure is the result of. The pressure is. The
So we're gonna have
result
to
of the
redefine
gradient,
pressure
not the
then,
other way.
because pressure is defined as something pressing against something else. So Chucky, what is pressing against what without a container to press against? What's pressing
He
against?
said you can have the pressure gradient without the pressure. So what's it a gradient of then?
What?
Yes, yes.
What's it a gradient
You-
of then?
It's a gradient of different pressures.
Oh,
Not
so you
a
do need the pressure.
It's not a
Oh my
pressure,
God.
it's pressures. Different
Okay, so
pressures
in order to have a
make a
gradient of
gradient.
pressure,
It's
in
not
order to have a
a
gradient of
pressure.
pressure,
We
in
don't
order
have a pressure
okay.
nowhere.
So in order to have a gradient of pressure, you have to have the pressure because it's a gradient of what?
Pressures.
Pressure.
You need pressures to have a gradient.
Okay,
Not
so you do
one
need pressure first.
pressure, you need different pressures.
No, the difference is the gradient.
Right.
Yeah,
Up
you're
there-
so lost.
Up there is a pressure. Here there is a different pressure. They are
Okay.
different pressure. They are not a
But how is there pressure at all? How is there even pressure though? That's the question.
What do you mean?
How, if there's a different pressure up there than there is down here, that's the quantification of the differential within pressure. But that's
Right.
skating past the question. How do you have the pressure?
The pressure you get from moving molecules, for example.
And they have to be contained.
Collide with each other, apply force on each other.
And the walls of a container.
And that's the pressure. Over a certain area.
And the walls of
that's
a
the pressure.
container. And the walls of a
No.
container, dude.
No, don't need a container.
Yes.
No.
So you don't actually contain the pressure without containment.
Yes,
the pressure
you do.
builds up because it's contained. That's
Yes,
why you
you
get
do.
pressure,
Yes,
or
you
it would
do.
continue to disperse in all directions and equalize, and it would be no pressure that builds up. It
Yes,
has to
you
be
do.
contained.
All you need to do to have is molecules that collide, that press on each other. That's all.
That's
You
crazy
don't
because
need
your
to-
model
you
claims
don't
that there
need
has
a
to be
container.
containment to have the pressure.
Yes,
Your
containment.
No,
your
you
model
don't.
claims
You
that there's
don't need a
containment.
containment.
Chucky, if
Your
I can
model
just
claims
quickly-
differently, though.
Chucky, that's a problem though, because if they collide with each other, they're going to spread further and further apart, and eventually those collisions will tend to not increase.
Well,
So
Yeah.
it's going to tend to
There's
decrease.
something
So you're
that
going to get
prevents.
increasing pressure with more and more collisions. They're not
Yeah.
going to tend to equalize or be static.
Chucky,
Yeah, the way you have
Right.
pressure is they continue to collide with one another. Listen, Psyche, the way that the pressure is there is because the gas molecules continue to collide with one another. In order for this to happen, it has to be contained. There has to be a finite amount of volume so that they will come back and collide with each other over and over. If
And
there
once
is no
they do
containment, if there is
No,
no
but-
containment, listen, if there is no containment, you don't have pressure. Your own model acknowledges this antecedent, and they invoke gravity as the
No.
container. So when you guys run around saying there doesn't have to be a container, you're
So
making
they would
claims antithetical to
equalize,
your own model.
right? So once those particles bounce off the container and reflect back, they would equalize overall, right?
No, because we have heat that's constantly changing, so the temperature is varying within this closed dynamic system. It's a dynamic system.
It's right. This dynamic system
In
is
your
about
dynamic
temperature.
system, high pressure go from low to high, right? In your dynamic system, how does it
Dynamic
work?
system at the
Do you not know what dynamic means?
Yeah, dynamic. I know it's
fancy
changing.
word.
What is dynamic?
how-
Changing. Yeah, changing.
So the pressure try to equalize, go up, and then dynamically go back down to repressurize. How?
Well, they're just constantly maintaining the pressure because it's contained in a certain volume.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Pressure contained in the volume.
Your own
He
model,
he
guys,
even
listen.
never learned.
Your own model acknowledges this. I'm sorry that you're
Why don't
lost.
you
Your
acknowledge
own model
yours?
acknowledges the antecedent of pressure being containment. They invoke gravity to be this containment. They know we couldn't have pressure without containment. That's why they invoke gravity to be the containment. So when you divert over to the pressure differential, i.e. the gradient, delta x, you're ignoring the antecedent. That is conflating the quantitative with the antecedent relationship.
No, it only needs a force that acts against it. That's all.
Okay, so that's the containment,
So-
right?
Let's take that
It's not
antecedent
containment,
for
it's a
granted.
force.
WITSIT.
What?
Let's take that antecedent for granted.
No, we're not taking the antecedent for granted because I
No,
need you
no,
guys
are
to
you-
acknowledge it
you
has to be there.
Do you understand what that means?
He's granting it to make a point. What's your main point, Mr. Devil?
And fellow flat earthers, please
Right.
give the Globers a bit more time in their playground. Please.
Lemon, how can you say Mr. Devil?
Go on,
Fuck
Bearded
that shit.
Dragon. Hold back.
Well, even the demons know the truth. They just twist and pervert it. But Bearded Devil was granting it to make a final point. Bearded Devil,
Yeah,
what's
yeah, I
your
do
final
see.
point?
Oh, well, one, you were asked how does it maintain, because it has to actually, the gas molecules have to be striking all of the surface to do that. So we're just waiting for that.
Yeah, what are you talking? The gas molecules have to be surface striking all of the surface. The gas molecules way smaller than the entirety of the surface.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. They're all going to bounce off the container and one another, building pressure.
You got it. I understand how airing up a tire works.
Do you?
So here it is. So that was the question. How are they able to do that?
Because they're contained.
Yeah, you're just saying they're in a box, therefore they're in the box.
That's the answer. The reason that pressure exists on Earth is because it's contained.
So all the gas molecules are expanding in all directions, striking the container
And one
all
another.
the time. Of course
Yes,
they're
they're either striking one another or they're reaching out to where they eventually hit the finite limit of volume, i.e. the container.
Okay, so basically the pressures of equilibrium, right?
Sure, but it's a dynamic system.
You can't have both.
Yeah. So you're saying this isn't a dynamic system?
I'm saying you can't have both.
Yeah, actually you can have both because, it's naturally trying to equalize, but the equalization is affected by the dynamic system, like fluctuation in temperatures.
Oh, how would it be fluctuated by temperature?
Are you saying that heat wouldn't affect the dispersal of gas?
Where's the heat coming from?
From outside of the system, potentially.
Oh, I'm sorry. The flat Earth is an isolated system. You have no way
so
to.
there's being heat introduced. There's heat introduced into the system. What's your point? There's a fluctuation of temperature.
Hold on. The flat Earth is a closed system. That's not even correct. There's no such thing as an isolated system. An isolated system would need to be isolated by a vacuum nothingness all around it. That doesn't exist. It would be a closed system with energy still coming in, but physical matter not getting out. It would be closed, not isolated.
Yeah.
Listen to him.
There's nothing in that definition.
Lemon was saying
isolated system.
We are living in a closed system.
Sorry, John. The flat Earth is an isolated system.
But Lemon was
means no exchange of energy and no exchange of matter. That doesn't exist. There's always an exchange. There's be an exchange of solar energy, but no exchange of physical matter under the dome. So it would be closed, not isolated.
Yeah, closed dynamic system. There's a fluctuation of temperature. There's electrostatics. There's electromagnetics, all at play. And we happen to know that what you have to do is divert away to. There you go. If you keep interrupting me, I'm just going to leave. So what you have to do is actually divert away.
I'm not good.
Okay, whoever's interrupting me, just stop.
Get you off your script there, kid.
No, sorry.
No, I'm letting you guys finish. How about you show me the same respect?
I'm sick and tired of you.
Okay, so the antecedent relationship of gas is that it has to be contained. You divert away to delta X, saying, look, there's a gradient. But it's a cool story. Yeah, there's a gradient, and it has tons of things that are at play, many variables, one of the main ones being fluctuation in temperature, right? Transfer of heat. This affects the dispersal of gas objectively. It can be shown a million different ways. We're in a closed dynamic system. There's a pressure gradient, but how do you have the gradient if you don't have pressure? You could. So you have to go straight to gravity as a container. That's what your side knows for a fact.
I didn't say anything about gravity. WITSIT?
What?
I didn't say anything about gravity.
But you do agree that you have to invoke gravity to be the container in the globe Earth model, right?
You have to relax.
I don't have a globe either.
Okay, so do you agree that the globe Earth has to invoke gravity to be the container, right?
You didn't say. Yeah, you're not making any claims. Therefore, what are we talking about?
Yeah, then you're useless in this conversation.
Oh, I don't argue for the globe.
Because you don't help us get anywhere. This is the same game that you play over on Jose's. I'm just gonna cut this shit right here. What are you saying?
Well, I asked a very simple question and he couldn't answer it.
I answered every question.
Well, the thing is, you're asking questions that have implications that you're not being honest about.
Babbling words from your hole, it does not equate.
Yeah, basically, this is the deal. You're a little gamma male. You're a little gamma. Listen. You don't have it in you to be intellectually honest. Listen, you don't have it in you to be intellectually honest enough to claim.
I think you're a gamma male.
Let's move forward.
That's cool. But you have to stake a specific claim in a debate. Okay, you can't just say, "Well, no, I'm going to debate against you." But
I did make a claim, and you didn't provide any evidence.
All right, there's no point arguing about it. Let's move forward to the next point. So I think
I will talk
wants
to
to say
Bob.
something.
I will talk to Bob about it.
Okay, the next.
Yeah,
point.
you guys think you can debate Ranty's little picture?
Oh, sure.
I
have a better picture.
I say to
but wait.
Johnny wants to say something. Let Johnny speak.
Johnny doesn't say anything.
I said to Bob, Bob was wrong, something wrong with Ranty. And Bob said to me, John, take it easy. Don't be like everybody else. No, I'm not like everybody else. There's something wrong with
Thank
Ranty.
you, John.
That was important.
Thank you, John.
Wait, when I close the door in my room, it's a closed system, but what kind of dynamics it has?
Depends on what's going on in the room, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm asking you what kind of dynamics it has.
It depends on what's going on in the room. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No winds, no change in temperature, but still a gradient.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you. What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody understands what.
Yeah, well, there's a gradient for one thing. Things automatically equalize relative to their density. There's an intrinsic electrostatic nature in all things in the material perceivable world. And yes, even in your house, there's a fluctuation of temperature.
Yeah. And do you think it's about gradients? Do you
Yeah,
know
a
what
gradient
is?
a gradient doesn't in any way disprove my point. We're talking about the antecedents. When you skip over to the quantitative, you look dumb to anyone in the know. The people on your side that are propped up to tell the whole world the Earth's a ball with a certain radius value, right? They know that they have to invoke gravity as a containment. The answer to the question on your side at the top levels is gravity.
If you talk against me, I'll take you down. If you talk against me, I'll take you down.
This idiot
Unlikely.
Of course, everybody knows about it.
Kilo,
We're
you
talking about
can't
different alternatives.
mute
So,
me, no, Johnny.
we're talking about different alternatives that could work over a flat plane because you guys worked off of the presumption that it was a globe and that we're sticking to the underside of it and that gravity can account for this. But gravity has changed form. Now it is a leftover for all of, it's a placeholder for all of the forces that we cannot measure or account for in space. So it seems to have changed definition very slightly overnight to the energy and the forces that we can't account for or measure.
Absolutely. It's about energy.
They're already changing it again too, Lemon. That's what's so funny. Like these people in here, they're so lost that they'll defend general relativity until their leaders come out and tell them that it's not the case anymore.
Oh,
but if
so
you actually read, why are you interrupting? Why are you interrupting?
You're a friend. You're a friend to.
Stop interrupting. So they're actually reluctantly admitting general relativity is wrong right now.
You're a friend to Nathan Thompson, right?
No.
So wait, what prevents the pressure from equalizing in my room?
It's a closed dynamic system.
What the hell?
In your room, I already answered that question. I'm not going to go back to it.
Why don't
You guys are just trying to spiral and divert
stuff up, changing things. That's part of the dynamic system. Things are changing because of the sun. Things are changing because we have living organisms absorbing and releasing these gases. Things are changing all over the place, making it very dynamic and very changing.
Relax.
Yeah, dude, things equalize in layer relative to their density.
In my room.
Hey, listen and write it down with your crayons, okay? Things equalize in layer relative to their density. Their densities relative to one another. In addition, there's an intrinsic electrostatic nature to it. In addition, if there's fluctuation of temperature, it affects the dispersal.
What density?
Yeah, there you go. You got nothing.
Well, there is the density difference, obviously, because
exactly. Welcome to flat Earth.
Well, Taiki, I would additionally say, I would say, Taiki, I would say that molecules move until they lose kinetic energy. Then they need more energy from the sun, from electricity to move up, to move down. And I would say that after the gas molecule settles, after it loses its kinetic energy, the overall electrical background gradiates and says what layer it will settle to, whether it rises, falls, or stays where it's at. So that goes back to gravity being in space, this placeholder that accounts for what makes stuff move up, move down, and account for these leftover forces that we cannot easily account for in space. So I say that electromagnetic ether, is the background organizing force, Chaiki, making it go up, down, or stay.
Yeah, and your side is reluctantly admitting that general relativity is wrong, and you guys don't even read your own religion. You just stay up to date. They're admitting that general relativity is wrong, and you guys come here and argue for it every day. You look dumb. The top levels of your academic priesthood. Just Google it, dude. You can.
Just Google it.
Okay.
Austin.
Alright, so look, it's gone out of order again.
That's what prevents my pressure to equalize.
Got Nick wants to address WITSIT.
So once.
But Nick did
good job, Timo.
Your own side admits it's wrong.
Whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep with.
Yeah, well, they say that 95% of the universe is dark matter because general relativity's claims are that far off.
It's okay, buddy.
Your connection is really bad, Nidhogg.
Yeah. Yeah. So your own model admits that general relativity is bunk. You guys just haven't caught up to that yet.
No, that's interesting, but the reason they say that is because of observation. And
Yeah.
the only way you can observe something to be the way it is by it actually being that. So there's a galaxy and the distances match.
No, they don't.
How's that going to work for you?
The distances don't match.
Clearly they do. If they didn't, then we have no problem, because then we don't know, and then there is no problem with relatives.
Okay, well, they had to claim a certain scale based on observations under the presupposition of the heliocentric model and then planetary movement within that, okay? And so when they assumed that scale, they literally assumed it. They reverse engineered calculations based on the assumption of heliocentrism. And then they've then taken this, applied general relativity to it, and found out, oh, it can't even explain our theoretical assumption. It's off by 95%.
But we could just change the scale then. If there was no substantiation for all that scale stuff, we could just change it and say, no, it's different. So
That's what they've been doing. They changed the distance to the sun 6 times in the last century. They change the scale all the time.
By what? By a couple of percent?
No, from like 3 million to 6 million to now it's 93 million. That's not a couple percent.
Wait, so that's not in the last 100 years. That's in the last 1,000.
No. In the last 100 years, it's changed numerous times.
Yeah, but not by that scale.
That's changed by a lot.
Not by that scale.
Not by a couple percent, by tons and tons of millions of miles.
No.
Yes. So if we're supposed to blindly believe that you have the accurate depiction of what's going on above us, why do you have to keep changing it?
It was at one point around 100, and now it is 93 million, right? And it was over the last century. It has changed within that 10%-ish.
Okay, so you admit then that you don't actually know for a fact what it is because you have to keep changing it.
I do know for a fact what it is now.
Wait, how do you know now? Because they said they knew for a fact back then, and they had to change it.
No, they did not. All of these astronomical distances are given with a percentage of accuracy. When we say,
but you agree that the distances are based on the gravitational relationship of the dispersal of mass, right?
No, we do not.
Oh, so the displacement of mass isn't what coincides with your distant claim?
That's not how you measure things. No.
Yeah, it is, actually. You do it to relative location based on the assumed gravitational relationship. You don't even know your own religion, dude.
That's not how you measure.
Yes, it is.
Let's hear from Sort how you do it, and then we're going to debunk it, Sort. Yeah.
By now, obviously, we can just ping it with a radar. So
You sent radar to the sun?
Yes, a radar to the sun.
Oh, don't mute WITSIT. Come on, but just make your point. Sort, point. Go.
The point is we can just ping it with a radar and tell you how far it is.
93 million miles now. That'll never change again.
It won't change by, maybe a 0.5%. Who cares?
Oh, so what's the duration of the radar wave? How long does it take the radar to get back?
I would guess about, 8 minutes or something?
Okay, so in 8 minutes, wouldn't we be spinning a drastic amount of distance? How do you receive it at the same location you sent it from if we're spinning and revolving?
That's not going to be much.
The radar wave is huge.
93 million. Now,
it needs to be miles and miles big, dude.
It is miles and miles big.
Oh, so the radar is after 8 minutes. How much do we move?
Let's say I put
my radar. Math. Doesn't matter though. That
so it doesn't matter. But so you don't even know your full claim yet.
Sorry, Sort.
You haven't even actually dissected your claim with intellectual honesty or critique yet, because you don't even know how much we're supposed to move in 8 minutes.
8 seconds.
Yeah, it's like
let Jake do
10,000 miles or something like that.
How much?
Like 10,000 miles or something like that.
Okay, is the radar 10,000 miles long?
Does it matter?
Of course.
If I put my radar on the North Pole in the summer, where it's 24 hours sun, right? We all agree that happens, right? Then it is not going to move even if the Earth rotates, because it's on the freaking North Pole, which is the center where everything.
Oh, is that where they send radar to the sun from the North Pole?
I could do it, but
you could not do it because you can't legally go there, and that's not where they claim they do it from.
I can't go to the North Pole.
So you just make up stuff.
Says who? Who says I can't?
You can only go on an approved guided tour to where they show you, and you can't even get actual evidence of the observation of Polaris directly overhead. So you're just making up stuff.
I can't get an accurate observation of looking 90 degrees up.
No.
How's that going to work?
Okay, then present it. Present it. Where's the observation of the 9-degree zenith angle to Polaris at the North Pole?
It's called navigation width.
No. Can you present the observation at the North Pole where the Polaris is at a 90-degree zenith angle? Can you provide the observation?
You know full well it's circles, so it's never.
I know
gonna
for a
be
fact
90.
it doesn't exist. I've looked for it.
Good for you.
WITSIT.
That does not matter to anyone, WITSIT.
Oh, okay.
I get what WITSIT. Can you show me the land of the Polarians?
What?
Huh?
The land of the Polarians.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
Well, you were saying that we can't go there. Nobody's ever been there. You're not allowed to go there. Z. So can you show me on a map the land of the Polarians?
No, because the map is wrong.
Thank you for
You got
acknowledging.
any more dumb questions?
that there is a land of the Polarians. I appreciate that.
I already said that you sound dumb saying stuff like that. So if where they take us to go to the North Pole is actually the North Pole, then all you would have to do to verify it, it's very simple, would be look directly up and to document and observe the 90-degree zenith angle relative to your location in Polaris. So does anyone have that observation? Oh, no, you don't. It
There's a
doesn't
reason
exist.
easier way, WITSIT. Why
No, that's the
bother
easiest
messing
way.
around like that? What you do is get a GPS device and it tells you when you're there.
Oh, why can't you just look up at the sky when you're there and
No,
verify the
why do it
GPS
the
is
difficult
accurate?
way? The reason you can't find that being done is because nobody's stupid enough to use that as a means of determining where you are.
Oh, well, that's what your model claims. Your model claims that the way that
That's what you
the way that
claim
your
our
model
claims. Our
No,
model
you're
doesn't claim
dumb.
that at all. That is a
No.
stupid way to determine when you're at the North
Well,
Pole.
your model claims the way that we know the North Pole is a 9-degree zenith angle from Polaris.
Now,
Yeah, but nobody would use that observation.
But that's what
to
y'all
determine
use,
that
though.
when they're at the North Pole.
But that's
a
what
dumb
you
way
use, though.
That's
No,
a dumb
no.
way of
The way
determining
you
when you're at
stake
the
your
North
listen
Pole.
carefully. The way your model claims to know
Listen
where the
carefully, WITSIT. That's a dumb way for you
Just
to
gonna keep
determine when you're at
interrupting
the
me?
North Pole.
You're just gonna keep interrupting me?
I'm just going to keep interrupting everybody. WITSIT, everybody. Keep interrupting everybody, WITSIT.
Okay,
WITSIT.
so
Two-faced WITSIT.
okay, so
Two-faced.
are you done?
Can't take what you give.
Okay, so your model
Okay,
claim.
so I'm just going to keep talking now. Because
Your
I've got just as much value to what I say as you do. So
Okay.
shut the fuck up.
Are
You
you
don't
done?
know anything about anything.
Okay, we get it.
You don't know anything about how to get to the North Pole. Fucking
Mark,
Top
can I-
Gear
can I
went
have
to
a
the
brief
North
word
Pole
here?
in cars.
Are
They
you done?
drove to the North Pole.
Are you
And
done?
you say we can't get there. I mean, you don't know shit about shit.
Okay, so according to your model, the way that we know the geographic location
According
of
to
the
your
North,
model, what model? What's your model, WITSIT?
we're talking.
Oh, yeah, you don't have a model because you don't have any facts or figures about anything.
Yeah.
Models are created with facts and figures and observations, but you don't have any of them for the flat world because it doesn't exist.
You don't have one either.
Yeah, we have lots of observations.
Okay,
and
well
figures,
then how
and we
about you link
constructed
the
a
working model then?
And it
Work the
allows
linking
us to
model.
predict things that we don't have to directly be anywhere to see.
You can't even predict the actual location of the geographic North Pole.
You can't predict it exactly. Why are you
Okay,
saying
then
that?
how
You're
do you know
lying
it's
about what we
exactly?
can
Do you
now.
have the
You're
observation
just
of the
lying about what other people can do now.
Do you have the observation of the 90-degree zenith angle relative to
Why
your
would I do
geographic?
that? That's a stupid thing to
Because
say.
that's how
need to
you
do.
determine
It's just
where it is
an
according
absurd
to your
thing to say
model.
do. Oh yeah, the only way I can tell when I'm under the North Pole is from the North Star, which is not exactly at the North Pole. So why would I do that? If I wanted to be accurate, why would I use an inaccurate star? Do you know how far the North Star is from the North Pole?
How far?
How far is it, WITSIT?
You tell me.
You tell me, WITSIT. Come on, how far is it?
Oh,
Why
so
do
you don't even know.
think
Where's
it's
the
spot on,
observation?
do you?
Where's the observation?
You say it's accurate, do you? How accurate is it?
No,
Is
what
it
I said
exactly at
was.
the North Pole, WITSIT?
Oh, dude, you're
WITSIT,
just
do you know what
talking
the
to
error is to
yourself.
the North Pole? WITSIT, do you know anything? WITSIT, do you know anything? Anything at all?
Are you just going to keep interrupting me? Okay, so your model claims that the way we know the
Don't
geographic
tell us about our
location.
model. You don't know shit about our model.
Wow, dude.
Wow,
So your
dude.
model claims
Wow,
that the
Why
way.
don't you talk about your model? Why don't you talk about your observations? Why don't you talk about your work? Why don't you talk about stuff that you've done?
Okay, so your model claims
So all
that.
you can do is naysay the globe Earth. Big deal. Whoopie doo. What a
Because
fucking
your
hero.
theory is questionable, and if you're using this questionable theory to analyze stuff, then we have a problem, and we need to talk about this stuff on the philosophical level. It's that simple.
No. We're not talking about on a philosophical level. Your model claims that the
I don't care
geographic
what our
location.
model claims. Why don't you
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
your model? You've got no fucking model. You've
Okay.
got no knowledge of anything. You've
Okay,
got empty
falsification is
rhetoric.
independent
You've
of
got
replacement.
fast talk. and you've
falsification is independent of
doesn't matter
replacement.
what your little poems go
You give a
like.
replacement
Doesn't matter whether you
statement.
phrase it as a haiku. It
Falsification.
doesn't matter how you phrase it in your smart little word. You've got nothing. You have no observations about reality.
Yeah, I do.
All you can do is criticize incorrectly how other people do things.
Oh, I have time lapse of the stars never intersecting
No, you
the marine
don't.
horizon.
No, you
Yes,
don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No,
Yes, I
you
do.
don't. Go on.
I've already
Where are they
posted
then?
it in
Present
here
them.
before. I did it in
Present them
Key
now.
West.
Do it
So
now.
this is
Do it now. WITSIT. Do it now. The evidence
okay.
now.
So
Now. Do it now.
okay.
Now. Come on. Now or sharp.
Okay, so
If you've got
falsification
stuff,
is
produce it.
independent
If you
of
haven't got stuff,
replacement.
shut up.
Your model claims that the
Do
way we
it.
know the
Come on.
geographic.
What about your
Wow.
model? What's your model
You look
constructed
so
from?
dumb right
Where's
now,
the
dude.
stuff
Do you
that
think you?
construct your model with? Where's your model, WITSIT?
I don't claim a
Where's your
model.
model? Christ,
Okay,
if you
so
can't cope with me, you're not going to stand a chance with Ranty
Wait.
later.
Hold on.
You'll be destroyed by Ranty later.
I think you have to relax. Everybody has to relax and.
Coming from you.
Okay, so your model claims that the way we know the geographic location of the North Pole is relative.
Blah. Just not claim how we know the geographic location of the
You're
North
just
Pole.
talking.
Stop
You
lying,
never
WITSIT.
listen. Not listening. There's nothing wrong with you. Austin was talking, and you start talking bullshit. Listen what Austin is saying. Okay, Austin, what?
By the way, WITSIT,
Okay.
you're invoking a straw man every time you say that. You know that, right?
Are you going to
let
stop
Austin
interrupting
talk,
me?
okay.
Okay, so according to
Stop
your
chatting
model,
shit. They can stop talking shit.
Oh, he cannot.
Talking reality.
You started talking, and you're. Why are you talking?
according to your guys' fairy tale model, the geographic North Pole has a 90-degree zenith angle.
Yeah, okay,
right?
so what? Nobody uses it.
Why
to
are you
locate
talking?
when you're under the
Why are
North
you
Pole. So what? I'm saying nothing. You're
Why are you
providing
talking?
nothing. There
Why
is
are you
nothing in
talking?
your information of any use to anybody.
The people, the audience, want to know what Austin want to say. Why are you talking?
So,
Yeah,
tomato
so-
juice is good for cleaning stainless steel. So fucking what? Big
The only
deal.
way that he can debate me, quote
We're not
unquote, is to
debating.
interrupt
Listen,
me.
You are not debating. This is not a debate.
You're right,
You
because
are
you're just interrupting.
ranting and rambling your bullshit.
No,
You've
that's
assembled
you.
a whole bunch of incorrect bullshit about what you think the Earth is or the universe is.
You're trying
And
your
you're
best to
totally
aggravate
wrong.
me, but it's
You're absolutely wrong. You cannot.
It's not gonna
actually present
work.
anything positive about reality at all. All you can
Are
do
you
is
done?
incorrectly naysay what the globe is. What the
okay. Falsification is independent replacement. Your geographic
doesn't
location
matter
of the North
how-
Pole is
doesn't
dependent
matter about
upon
your
the
little
90-degree
haikus.
zenith
I
angle. We're going to need an
care about your
observation
little
that's
poems.
verifiable.
Your
I'm
little
just going to talk
poems
over you.
Don't make any
We're gonna-
difference to reality.
Oh
It
my
really
God.
doesn't matter how smart your verbiage is.
I'm way
You've got
smarter than you
nothing
are, obviously,
behind
because
it.
you can't even let me
Empty
talk. You're scared to even let me
empty
talk.
rhetoric, WITSIT. You're fed up
If
with
I'm so
it.
stupid,
You've got
then why
nothing
would you
with
have
it.
to
You're
interrupt me?
filling airtime. You're just filling airtime with zero.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Okay, so according to your model, there's a geographic location of the North Pole. It has a 90-degree zenith angle. So in order to verify this, we're going to need to go get it up.
Back and forth with his bollocks. Oh yeah, it's infuriating, isn't it? Maybe if you acted like a
All right, I'll be
human,
back in a couple of minutes when this guy
maybe-
calms down.
Maybe if you acted like a rational human, maybe no.
Says the guy who's
About that?
rambled and interrupted for 10 minutes straight.
Lazar, what are
You
you
don't do
trying
that.
to achieve here at the moment?
There's nothing to be achieved here. Nobody's trying to achieve anything here.
We know.
Everybody is just here to make spectacles of themselves.
That's what
And you
you're doing.
guys- And you guys do it brilliantly. You are the best.
But you began by
Are you done?
You began by saying I have the right to speak as anyone else, but then you're not allowing anyone else to speak.
I didn't get past a second sentence before WITSIT interrupted, so fuck it. If that's how it goes, that's how it goes. I'm okay with that.
You're self-rejecting.
We can spend 24 hours 7 shouting at each other all one, or we can start to respect each other and shut the fuck up when we haven't got anything to say, and listen when other people have got something to say, and stop trying to treat anybody else like some inferior.
I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to get the
You're
point
being
out.
an
You keep
arrogant
interrupting.
twat. You're being an arrogant, little, uneducated, empty-headed fuckwit. That's what you
Are
are,
you done?
WITSIT. And all you do every time you come in here is prove it again and again and again. And just because
Okay.
you've got a few groupies who think you're amazing, Doesn't count for fuck, because behind what you say is bollocks.
If I'm so stupid, why are you so emotionally
Because
involved
you've never
in this?
done anything. WITSIT, you've never done anything in your life. You've never done
Why are you
damn
so
thing.
emotional?
You've never worked out a single thing from anything like base concepts whatsoever. You've never followed instruction to duplicate anything real world in your life, and you never will with this attitude.
It's a theoretical level. So you can follow instructions. That doesn't mean that your theory is valid. An element of it may be valid, but it may still be a flat plane. Maybe you need to think about it from a new way with an outsider like, WITSIT and other flatties or whatever. Maybe not. Let's look into this more.
Why has it gone crickets?
No, I'm just wondering if you're done spiraling yet.
Well, it makes a change for someone else's spiraling in your gamma shit, doesn't it, WITSIT?
Okay, so according to your model, we have a
Okay, well, what about our model? What about your model, WITSIT? Come on, your model. Forget our model. We know about our model. You can't explain anything about our model.
Okay, so a falsification is independent of replacement.
Yes,
we were
you
all
like
told
poetry,
that the
yes,
Earth is a...
Your little formatted script and little haikus, yes, very clever. Wow, you're amazing.
Okay, we were all told that the Earth is a ball with a certain size, a certain location of the North and South Pole.
I've measured
So
the
we're
ball.
we're trying to verify if this is true.
Some of us have done that. Some of us have done that.
Bazaar, why don't you shut your mouth, man? Why don't you do that?
Oh, you've got the heavyweights in now. Oh, SC's here. Oh,
That's right. The thing is, you falsified the flat Earth based off of falsification, and then used it to elbow in your model, saying that the flat Earth cannot account for this and that. So it's really hypocritical for you not to allow similar analysis for the globe itself, when that was the way that your system was formulated in the first place.
Yep, and of course, the default position based on observation is that the Earth is flat.
We don't know.
Base concept.
Okay, so anyway, according
Default position,
he's afraid of me
I know
dismantling his
that, but
religion.
you can turn down
I see that.
because he has nothing to contribute to any conversations whatsoever. So I don't know
You're
why
self-projecting.
Maybe you have to
because he
relax.
has no content to insert into anything.
Well, how about we let everyone else make that decision for themselves and they hear what I say?
No, you won't do that.
Hey, Bazaar,
You
if you
won't do
can't
that. I
handle
would happily
WITSIT,
do
why don't
that.
you let somebody else do it, man?
I would happily do
Why
that.
are
But
you
you've
shutting down the
shown
conversation,
day after
bro?
day, time after time, debate after debate,
Yeah.
that you're not interested in listening to anything anybody else has
So
got to
close
say.
your ears.
Not
Let us
interested
listen to
at
it.
all.
Close your
Okay,
ears.
you're not talking to me. You're not Mr. Flat Earth, if you think that. You are fucking nobody for
Hey,
me.
there's 60 people in here, Bazaar. Go on deafen and let somebody else talk.
It's always about 60
want
people. There's
Fuck
always
you,
4 or 5
Austin.
people dominate the text, dominate the speech. So what? What of it? Big
Yeah, but-
deal. Today it's me.
Calm down, man. Why are you so
Today
mad,
it's me.
dude? Yeah,
Fucking
hey,
me.
Yehovah loves you, bro.
Everybody's
We're
Bazaar,
tired.
you're weak.
He's tired of you. Go
Your
and
week
fuck
is showing,
your
bro.
friend.
Because you're using the fundy mute button. Your week is showing. Let the man
What
speak.
WITSIT does. I'm just emulating WITSIT.
Don't you agree if I'm stupid and
Just
very...
emulating every other flat
Hey,
earther.
you're with
Emo.
Nathan Thompson. Nathan Thompson. Hey, hello.
Okay, WITSIT is stupid. Show us how smart you are, Bazaar. Go on
What's
one-on-one
up,
with
Essie?
him. Or
Essie,
I'll go on
what I missed?
one-on-one with me if you want. No
Essie,
problem.
what I missed? What's going
Let
on
me
here?
do anything I want to do here.
Okay, so if you agree, don't you agree that if I'm stupid, then there should be nothing I can say that would make you spiral and get so emotionally charged, right?
Well,
You're-
so
yeah.
you're
Wait till
looking
you
me
already
all
know
the
you're gonna
time,
make them
so-
spiral, regardless of the fact.
Treat
Doesn't
people
matter.
like shit. That would get people. That would make people spiral. But nothing you say, no content behind what you say would do that. All that would do that is your attitude.
So then there's
And you're
nothing to
indifferent.
fear
You're
here, right? You
angry.
should just let me
You have
calmly make my...
nothing of any
No.
substance,
They
WITSIT.
don't like you.
Bazaar, you're
Simple.
behaving like an old girlfriend that doesn't let the guy speak. Like this is not natural behavior, bro.
If I'm an old girlfriend of yours, I feel sorry for you, man.
You have to be.
No, he said
normal.
you're
Hey man,
acting like one.
like here's the deal. If I think someone's really stupid, right, and they talk about something that has nothing to do with reality, I would never be this
yeah, but
emotional
you actually
about it.
get annoyed when I speak, and you think that I am
You're
stupid.
out. You're
Okay.
out.
Anyway, your emotion shows that you're actually self-projecting your own intellectual insecurity, and that you are actually
Yeah,
just
the way you
uncomfortable with
behave.
the
You
fact.
are muting me several
The way
times.
you behave.
So you're
project
saying
your
you can say
personality
something.
too. Maybe we
You're
all
muting
project
me
our
all the-
personalities on here on occasion. So what of it? What are you again, WITSIT? You're not saying anything that people don't know.
Okay, so if you were in fact very positive that I'm way out of in left field, when I talks about the Earth, the last thing you would care is about me critiquing your model. You would actually welcome
why are you talking up on your fucking nose?
You just talk nonsense.
No muscle, no
You
nothing.
think you
You have
create
nothing.
critiquing
You have no
things.
muscle, and you're talking up into your nose.
What's
There's
up,
something
Scotty? You
wrong
all right?
with you. Do you understand it?
Bazaar,
Okay,
you could
so
have wasted
anyway,
this
the
half an
Earth-
hour destroying WITSIT.
Was
Instead
it
of
really?
doing
So
that,
what
you
I
just
miss,
insulted.
Effie? Did I miss it? Dang.
Yeah, we were talking about how it is that you verify the geographic location of the North Pole and the globe Earth.
No, we weren't
Yeah, how do
talking
you
about
verify
it.
this, actually? I
We
want to
weren't
know that.
talking about it.
That's
You
a
were
good question, huh?
dictated- You were dictated
Yes, very.
a method to do something that people don't do. So don't try and come across that you were imparting some wisdom, bollocks. You were doing fuck all of the sort.
Don't try
He
to
was
be-
challenging you to provide evidence of you on the North Pole looking, and Polaris. You instead of showing something, you chickened out and you started insulting.
No, I just told him he was proposing something that's just not done. You was proposing this is a proof of something. It's not. It's a proof of fuck all.
But
Yeah.
bro, your whole
So you have to
religion is
relax.
based on that.
Bro,
you get
that-
it.
you can't even correctly identify what you're arguing against. You're arguing
Yeah.
against the wrong things. You're arguing against straw men. You're arguing against lies. You make them up so that you can knock them down and think you're clever.
No, according to your model, right? There's a 90-degree
Yes.
zenith angle to the geometric.
It doesn't matter what you think our model is. Why don't
No,
you
it's
ask
objective.
us, why don't you
Is your
ask-
model?
Okay, ask you. Does your model?
Don't talk about it.
Why
now.
don't you ask
It's
people on the globe side how they would locate their position at the North Pole? No, you
Say-
arrogantly, incorrectly
say
assume
sorry,
that
say
you would do
sorry.
it this way and then say, show me the evidence that I've done it this impractical.
No, I'm
way."
asking you. So I don't strawman you. I'm asking you. Does your model have a 90-degree zenith angle to the geographic North
That
Pole?
is-
Yes or
that is a
no?
logical, sensible way.
WITSIT must have asked for
Look at
video
the North
verify.
Pole.
Simple question, bro.
You know they're not gonna verify. They don't have that.
It's a stupid question, and I'll answer it. Yes.
All right, here's your model. You can
Shut up.
circumnavigate.
We,
You can
all we needed
circumnavigate.
is you now.
You can circumnavigate
Fucking
the North
arrogance.
Pole. All you got to do is prove that you can even circumnavigate it. The pole's in the middle, so you can go around the top of the ball and just start showing us where you can prove it. You can't even see Polaris from Russia, so wake up.
You can't see Polaris
So,
from Russia.
yes,
You're
it's
lying.
a
Dave.
stupid question. When I answer
Really,
it,
guys,
what the hell? Timo, you will mute me next when all these clowns shouting here.
Okay, so are we
There
gonna
is
calm
a
down there?
zenith angle anywhere you go. Yes, so yes, at the North Pole there is a zenith angle.
You're out.
Always.
Okay, so can we get an observation of the time lapse of the 90-degree zenith angle, please?
They're not gonna give that. I've been asking for that for a while with it.
Well, that's crazy because whenever, listen, guys, listen, calm down.
Something, and we will run to the North Pole.
Everybody, calm down. Don't speak over each other. It's stupid. Okay, listen, let me explain this to you guys. Let me explain this to you guys. Whenever you invoke navigation based on Polaris, and y'all use Polaris angles and where you can't see them anymore as quote-unquote proof of the globe Earth, you can't then dismiss Polaris being in the center whenever we're actually trying to verify your claim of a geographic North Pole. According to your model, there's a geographic North Pole relative to the 90-degree zenith angle in the sky. Can we please get an observation that verifies that, since you guys claim we're stupid for saying we can't go to the real North Pole?
What do you mean a geographic? You mean a celestial North Pole? What do you mean?
No, I mean geographic co-aligning with celestial.
I agree with
Directly
WITSIT.
underneath it, guys.
WITSIT, they can't even prove you circumnavigate it, man. What do you think? Like going east to west?
Well, Polaris rotates about half a degree off the celestial pole. There's a little circle.
How did you verify that? How do you know that?
Look at any time-lapse video that's pointed towards Polaris, and you'll see
Same thing
Polaris.
with the
square with a
Okay,
small
so then it
circle.
should be easy to go to the geographic North
have
Pole
No, it's not
and to
easy to go
verify.
I mean, you need like
and to verify.
you need like an icebreaker ship to go there, right?
Wait, how did they get? I thought they could take us there though.
Or you need to take an aircraft there. You're not gonna.
Wait, can they take us there? Can't you pay to go there?
Yeah, the Russians supposedly they do a trip right on one of their nuclear icebreakers.
Because what we always see from globe earthers is that it's
doesn't-
super easy to go to the
It
North
doesn't
Pole.
matter
Which one
though.
is it?
You can easily fly to Barrow, Alaska, and Polaris is about 17 degrees off.
No, we don't need 17 degrees. We need 90 degrees.
Well, if it's 17 degrees and then every time you move 69 miles south, it moves another degree. Why do you need it? Why can't you what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it doesn't matter. Because of what you perceive in the variance of degrees. Listen, because if the perception of the variance in degrees changes relative to how close you are, that's very pertinent to the discussion.
From 17 degrees in Barrow, Alaska, to 90 degrees at anywhere on the equator, we know that it keeps the same ratio of 69 degrees per mile, right? So why would we need to do that last 17 degrees, and what difference would it make?
To verify it. So why don't you just go to the North Pole to the top of this ball? Then make sure you isolate the 90-degree zenith angle celestially. Why can't you do that? Why is that so hard? Why it would be the first thing that you did. The first thing that you would do.
It's hard to be at the top of Mount Everest, but yes,
I
there's a
thought the
handful of
Glovers
people
say that
do
we're
it.
stupid and it's easy to go to the North Pole. Which one is it?
Yeah, it's easy if you can write a check. It's easy if you've got a checkbook big enough to write the check to get there.
Okay, so if I write a big enough check, then I can go and I can actually document and observe a 90-degree zenith angle. So why has no one ever done that?
So why haven't you done that?
Why hasn't the world's military done that yet?
Because people, number one, I don't think very many people go to the North Pole in the wintertime when it's actually dark there and you can see Polaris, right? The expeditions are usually reserved for the summertime. When it's daylight all day, you would never see the star.
That's convenient.
Yeah,
it's called ice, you dipshit.
Okay, but would the world's militaries not get such a pertinent piece of information and evidence relative to the location of the North Pole of where we live? It's 2021. If the world's militaries can easily go there, they would go make the standard observation of coline and 90. I'm still talking. One of the standard observations they would make at the beginning is verifying the 90-degree zenith angle with the geographic location. The fact that they don't even have an observation to show us how far it is, what's the degree in variance. Hey, what's the variance in degrees? You don't know because this observation was never made. If you're honest, you know it'd be the first one made.
Man. Here's the other problem, which you can't circumnavigate Polaris either, and you can't even see.
Nobody has circumnavigated.
You can't even see Polaris from Russia. You can't even go around. If you went around the top of the ball, you should be able to see Polaris at all points. All the way around the
Yeah, of course you can't do it. That's why they still haven't invoked Alaska, because you can't get there. So we're stupid for not believing what you haven't verified yet. Why would we be stupid for not believing what you haven't verified yet?
What's swallowing your phone, dude?
Man, these people are under communist mind control.
David and Johnny, how come none of you guys have done this? Because you guys keep bitching about and moaning about how other people haven't done it. How about you guys? Why haven't?
Because it's damn near impossible to find an approved guided tour. I'm answering the question.
That we're not flying for me, so now it's impossible for you. But
can I answer the question, or are you just going to interrupt me? Okay. So it's damn near impossible to find an approved guided tour. Stop interrupting me.
And then you're bitching about it.
Okay, so I've actually looked into it. Can I answer the question?
No, you haven't even looked.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. So it's almost impossible to get. Oh my God, dude. It's almost impossible to get an approved guided tour during the winter there.
Why is that?
Because they don't want you proving the Earth's not a magic ball that defies physics, maybe.
So that's also why we can.
Well, I've looked into it. I've had the funding offered to me, and you can't get there.
Why can't you go?
I've had the funding offered to me. Write it down. I looked into it because someone offered the money, and you can't get.
To do this
okay, you're gonna keep doing it.
No, that's not true. You never had the funding offered to you.
Yes, I did. No, I had a few different things offered. So it doesn't matter what you. I don't care if you think it's a lie. Go look into it yourself, because I have. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to get an approved guided tour to the supposed geographic North Pole during the winter.
You never had any funding offered to you, WITSIT. You're lying.
Yeah, you can't respond, can you?
You looked it up. How much it was? How much was it?
It was thousands of dollars.
I don't
it was
think
like
that they
over
do any trips.
$20,000.
It's 30,000. I just found it. I can link it, but they don't do it in the winter time.
That's what I'm saying. So then I would be stupid for me to use $30,000 of someone else's money to go where I wouldn't get the observation we need to validate the geographic location's relative relationship with the celestial location, i.e. a presupposed 9-degree zenith angle.
Think about it, WITSIT, though, from a tourist perspective, right? Why would anybody want to go when it's completely pitch black dark, right? Nobody would want to go on a trip where it's just dark for days.
I want to go.
People, when they go on a sightseeing trip, they want to see things.
What, you're telling me no one would want to go where you can actually see the celestial North Pole? No one would want to see that in person?
Not enough people care enough to where it becomes an economically viable
okay, so you're just their legal team. We get it. The point is, you can't go do it. No one has the observation. No one in this stupid room has the observation. No one on the earth has the observation. That's
WITSIT.
Yes, anyone can go and do it if they want
to. Russia, because they will do anything for money.
No one on the entire earth has this observation. Do you guys agree? Yes or no?
No, I don't see it. I haven't found it.
Exactly. So if no one on the earth, including the world's military, so your tourist little excuse doesn't work. We're talking about the world's militaries haven't even been the first to beat on their chest and say, look, we got a picture of the geographic North Pole with a time lapse. This observation doesn't exist on the entire earth, and you guys don't think that's sketchy.
It doesn't make the slightest bit of difference, WITSIT.
Okay. So you guys are just dishonest.
WITSIT.
And this is what it comes down to. If you're a flat earther, you're honest. You get to the points where you're like, that makes no sense that observation hasn't been done. It makes no sense that observation doesn't exist anywhere on the face of the earth. That's what an honest person will say. But if you're a globe zealot, you will say, it doesn't matter. No one would want it. It's hard to go there because you're scared of the truth.
You're on the open ocean where there's like 10 feet of ice, and it's one of the most inhospitable places, and you expect people to set up a time lapse so that you can have a time lapse.
The world's militaries would do that.
Of the celestial pole from standing directly underneath the celestial pole. It's just a strange, arbitrary requirement. Inaccessible places on the earth, and you think that's a reasonable request?
Can I please respond to him?
They can do take pictures of the 24-hour sun. They can't do a 24-hour time lapse. That's not consistent at that point. That's not internally consistent or whatever.
Wait, look, it doesn't even make any behavior. It makes no tactical, practical sense from the military's perspective. If the Earth's a ball and you're going to be on the very tip top of it, hey, if you could listen, if you could be on the very tip top of the globe Earth, right in the most tactical place wow, dude.
Jeez, why you don't let him finish?
You guys are scared.
Claims. That's
okay, so if the Earth's a ball with a celestial, hey, listen, if the Earth's a ball and you have a geographic location that's the very tip top of the ball, right, the very tip of it, you would want to map that out as a military. Certainly, when they're surrounding.
No top of the ball.
That's wow, nonsense. You just always have to interrupt.
Well, you're just saying you're making stuff up. There's no such thing as the top of the ball. No one says that there is.
So the North Pole isn't on the top of the ball?
No.
There would be a top of the ball, and you know it.
There is no top.
It's a planet.
In the classroom, there would be a top of the ball.
It's a planet, not a ball.
Oh, look at the productive thing you had to say.
What exactly is the tactical relevance of having a time lapse of the North Celestial Pole from standing directly underneath it
you would have the most accurate mapping and navigation capabilities in the world.
Oh shit. GPS.
Oh, you can't respond. You can't respond. You lose again.
No one loses WITSIT. You're an arsehole.
No, you just lost. It would immediately 100%. This isn't debatable. I set you guys up like I always do.
It's not debatable.
If they knew the exact location of the 9 degrees, if they knew, you guys are scared. If you knew the exact 9 degree zenith angle, you would have the most efficient surveillance, navigation, and mapping capabilities. Okay, surveillance, navigation.
Nobody else is.
Right,
why is it necessary to use Polaris? You can use any star at its zenith.
Yeah, but you would get the actual direct measurement of the central point the map extends from. Tactically speaking, no, you can't.
You didn't let me finish.
Yes, I can.
No, tactically speaking, you would want the most accurate.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
That's all you guys got.
You can use any star at zenith and measure all angles from 0 to 90, and then measure the relative difference between that and Polaris.
Okay, and when you measure the relative distance, how do you get an accurate layout of the land from that?
There is no geopolitical.
You don't get layout from the land.
To go into the North Pole.
That's What are you
Well, we're talking about the geographic location of the North Pole, bud.
There is no geopolitical.
You people are getting
relevance to
dismantled,
going to
and
the
how
North
do you
Pole.
leave? How do you leave after this and still convince yourself that I'm stupid? I'm dismantling all of you while you interrupt me, while you strawman me, and while you divert.
Yeah, just do your own little victory dances every few minutes, WITSIT. That's a great strategy.
Well, I'm just trying to genuinely understand. If I'm stupid, you wouldn't have to interrupt me.
WITSIT, you've just
You are
given.
stupid, so we interrupt.
No, you have to interrupt me, not let me make my coherent point. No, it's because you're scared of your religion being exposed.
We interrupt you.
I was scared of stupidity.
That's a lie. You bathe in it daily.
Everyone in here is letting you just rant on and talk, and you don't let anyone talk, and then you say, you guys are scared, you won't answer me. But
So
then
just-
no
how
one can
about
even
just-
get 3 words in. You look at this. You don't even let me finish what I'm saying.
No,
you
I
don't
just
let
have to-
anyone get more than 3 words in and interrupting them, and we're the ones that are scared.
No, I just have to be ready to speak immediately, because if someone's addressing me, as soon as they finish, I have to immediately speak, or I will be rumpused by 5 people, dude. Just throwing personal attacks at me.
The Glovers
It's all
are actually on
recorded,
way
dude.
better behavior here than you are. And
Okay,
in
then
fact,
how
the other
about-
flat earthers are on their good behavior too. You're the only one in here that's completely unreasonable in their behavior.
And this has all been recorded. You look so dumb right now. This guy went on a 10-minute tirade, not letting me speak.
Who gives a fuck?
He just did it again. He on such good behavior, he had to do it again.
Well, let's take a picture of the zenith stars that are directly overhead, 90 degrees from each continent, from the north, south, east, west of each continent, and see if it matches geographically. If it doesn't match geographically, perhaps it's some sort of perspective phenomenon.
Okay, for one,
Shit, Lemon, that's what I
this
said.
the entire tirade was so that no one can question Polaris on a flat Earth.
Yeah, I agree.
The thing is, in the North Pole, we have one point that goes below one zenith star, Polaris. But in the South Pole, that would not be the case. You would have a geographic expanded region all seeing the same zenith star somehow, which would tend to point toward some sort of perspective phenomenon that doesn't quite match the land underneath.
Yeah,
okay,
that's not gonna happen, Lemon. So let's get over that, right? You know, we have mapped the night skies for,
but not from the 90 degree zenith angle.
Okay, which
a lot of them
angle
we
is
have
it?
the 90 degrees on. Yes,
Hold on.
obviously, because some of them pass
saying
directly over places. Not
What's
maybe not Polaris, but that does not really matter.
The South Star.
Hey, now let me address that point.
Not the north or south, but it doesn't really matter.
Let me finish addressing the point, WITSIT. There is no point in knowing the geographical center of rotation of the North. We know where Australia is, so much so that we know it has moved 4.9 feet over the last 20 years.
You would need to know the exact center to do that.
Yeah, and we do have that.
Or you don't. No, that's what we're talking about.
Because we have the exact
No, you
center,
don't.
because we use the rotational center, not the damn stars. You know, the stars were good back in the day. Just like, you know, the master's thumb was good
You're
for measuring.
obfuscating. That's
But
not the
that
issue
was
on
back
the
in
table.
the day.
Definitely.
Now we know the rotational center.
You're
we don't-
obfuscating.
So wait, are
Yes,
you saying
yes.
that we don't? Wait, are you saying we don't use celestial navigation still?
How?
Oh.
According to you, we don't know where the stars are.
Yeah, exactly. All you have is a generalized idea that gets less accurate away from the center, but you don't have an accurate center either.
How?
You have the accurate center, and do not use astronomical navigation because we have GPS.
Oh, you guys are so lost. This is why GPS localizes your location so that it can give you the most accurate readout out from your central point.
So
The
are they
calculation
admitting, are they
with
admitting they can't? Can I talk one time? So we're admitting we cannot circumnavigate Polaris around the Earth, right? We can't go. We can't even circumnavigate the world, right?
We can circumnavigate the central North Pole. The southern one appears to be some sort of perspective phenomenon, reflection off the dome, or some sort of perspective optical thing.
If we can't get a 90-degree angle, how can we circumnavigate the North Pole, dumbass?
No,
the accurate navigation. The North Pole's fine. The South Pole appears to be the main question because it doesn't have land below the South Pole to match the globe.
Calm down, bro. Calm down, bro. Calm down.
You see how you can't go 90 degrees underneath it, but you can circumnavigate it, right?
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, if it stays central to you, you can circumnavigate it. It just won't be a perfect layout with the 90-degree zenith angle. Like if it stays,
you cannot go around the world east to west. It's impossible, or you'd be circumnavigating Polaris.
Yeah, listen, but as long as Polaris stays in your relative north, you can circumnavigate it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Now, have you heard Lemon and David by now? Because
I want to hear David and Witsit yell at each other. Everyone else be quiet.
What does that mean? WITSIT? WITSIT, what does that mean?
Yeah, so it means they don't have a very accurate layout. Like you would need the 90-degree zenith angle with the actual celestial observation. But when you just use the generalized central location of north, right, and you're just going east or west around that, constantly updating north relative to that location, then you would effectively go around it. You just wouldn't have a perfect symmetrical circumnavigation.
All of that is interesting, but
you don't believe that, right? You have no proof of that. You have zero proof.
You guys are spiraling.
Dude, we have proof that there's a north, man.
Come on, I want to hear Dallas and Witsit.
There is a north from North America and Europe, but Russia, the communist country of Russia, you have no proof of it at all. Zero. No one can even see Polaris from Russia.
People can see that's not true. You can see Polaris from Russia.
No, I think you're probably making a good point. You just got to make it better, bro. Like, don't scream, man. Like, yeah, I think your point is, and I agree with this, that we don't have an accurate land layout. Like, we can't even verify most of these things. We just go based off what we've been told, and they're all built upon the map, and the map is an assumption. The map also assumes Polaris as the center.
So how do all the shipping companies around the world get their packages from one place to another, right? All the shipping and air freight and everyone. How do they get around and deliver things to everyone around the world?
Yeah, we send different signals to localize that person's location, and then we have a mapped out central to that. We map it out.
Signals? Who sends these signals?
Wait, now you're diverting. So yeah, we have all other things that are.
You just made a claim. You said, well, they're just sending signals, and then that's diverting.
Wait, are you saying that we don't send towers back and forth from? Hey, we don't send signals back and forth from towers to centralize location to get GPS functionality, or do we not?
There's augmented GPS towers, but no, out in the open ocean, there's no towers.
Oh, okay. So they have some high altitude balloons, and there are towers in the ocean. So anyway,
so who designed this?
You're diverting away because I just smoked you,
Where's your evidence
dude.
of high altitude?
I'm
not diverting away. I'm directly addressing your claim. You just said a minute ago that there's high altitude balloons that provide the GPS signals that are diverting all these shipping companies this way and that way. What's your evidence for that?
What you said, what you did was invoke GPS in our conversation about the celestial North Pole, and then I did.
No, you invoked GPS because you said there were signals.
You're interrupting. So then I responded because you said, "Well, how does GPS work?" Well, because you asked how everyone was making navigations, right? And so what I said was,
hold on, WITSIT. This started with me asking you. Jesus, David.
It's determined and given to that ship, and it cannot deviate. Everything is a set course only.
Jesus.
So what is your point?
You started this conversation with talking about signals diverting ships in order to get to their destination.
Yeah, so they send a signal to whatever receives it.
Okay, so who's sending the signals? I just asked you that. Who?
Okay, so most of the signals are sent via towers. You then said, well, what about in the ocean? So we know for a fact under their own admission, 99% of the transmissions are used through towers. We're going to talk about that first, and then we'll talk about your diversion. So whenever they send it from the tower to the location, they then map out the terrain relative to that central location. This is done because accuracy is disproportionately decreased with distance. The further you get away from the center, the less accurate it becomes. This is why they do it that way. The military does it that way. Whenever they're going to go get the bad guys, they use their central location to then map out terrain from that because it decreases with the accuracy. That's why GPS being accurate, it sends a signal specific to that central location, localized to it, and then maps out central to it.
So where's your evidence that the GPS in the open ocean is towers or balloons?
Okay, so we have to just get past everything, go to your diversion. Yeah, there are towers in the ocean. There's a picture of
it. What you just claimed. You just went on a tirade talking about these towers.
Well, no, I dismantled you, and then we'll go on to the next subject. So
you're going to do instead of addressing what I asked you, you're just going to do a pretend.
No, I'm going to address what you asked me.
You just got wrecked, Holmes. You just got annihilated.
Yeah.
You just got eviscerated, bro. I just eviscerated you. That's why I don't need to answer any questions. You were eviscerated. I'm going to do five victory laps because I don't want to answer questions. I'm going to pretend like you just got eviscerated, bro.
No, calm down, man. What I'm saying is I will address it, but not without the preface. Listen, stop interrupting me, dude. I will address it, but not without the preface of me pointing out it was a diversion attempt. And so then I answered what you diverted away from. Now we'll move on to your diversion. So calm down. Yeah, you lost when it came to the thing you diverted from. So yes, there are towers in the water, and we also have high altitude balloons. Look at Google Loon Project to give internet to people in localized areas. They had to put up high altitude balloons. This is definitely a functionality that's been used, proven empirically. You can go look for yourself.
Where are the towers in the water? You just made a claim. Where are the towers in the water?
You've never seen a tower built in the water?
You said that there's towers in the open ocean. Show me the pictures.
No, I said, yeah, we have towers out in the water, and then you get further and further away where it's really deep and you can't build the towers. Then we have things that can, if need be, relay the signal to the more remote location further away from land, right? And one of the things that would do this is a high altitude balloon.
Where are the towers? Show me the towers in the water.
There are towers in the water.
Show me a picture. What's the evidence that you have for that?
No, I didn't say that there were towers way out in the middle of the ocean. I said that there are towers in water, and everyone knows that you're not going to know. This is your attempt to try to dilute the conversation.
No, you just made a claim, and I'm asking you to prove it. It's not a deflection.
So wait. So to clarify, you're saying there are no towers in water.
Show me a picture of a radio tower in the water.
Okay, there's a tower up there in the water, and my question is, are you saying that there's no?
You just made the claim. Where is your evidence that there's radio towers in the water? Show me a picture.
Yeah, there's a picture in there.
And picture in where?
It's at 1056. Anyway, so to clarify, before I go get it, are you saying that there are no towers in water?
Anyway.
Yeah, you can't answer. So there are some towers in water, but they're closer to the land. When you get further away from the land, they obviously don't put towers there. The ocean gets too deep. We then relay signals.
There are GPS towers in the water, but GPS signal doesn't come from those towers.
Wow, dude, you guys should pay me for having to come teach you.
Well, there are towers in the water, but GPS signals don't come from those towers.
99% of all transmission does, but you're saying when we're out in the ocean, how are they getting their GPS?
But not GPS signals, right? Not
GPS signals on the land come from towers.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Okay, so you don't know anything, and they use a triangulation.
I do. I actually know a lot.
Do they triangulate the signals? Yes or no?
Receiver.
Yeah, exactly.
Receiver.
So they actually have to relay them with towers when we're on the land. That's what we use when we use GPS, and then it centralizes and pings your location and maps out terrain relative to your central
relay
location.
is not an originator. A relay is not an originator.
So we're talking about the originator? Okay, it's the person on the ground that has sent out a signal.
It comes from the satellites.
Wait, your signal comes from the satellite, but they're actually going to use your signal, though.
The response comes from the satellite.
Oh, in the middle of the ocean, sometimes they relay using high altitude balloons. Yeah.
Yeah, the relays aren't originators.
What? I didn't say they were.
Man, WITSIT, that tower sticking out of the water is off the coast of Florida. It's a Navy radio tower. They don't even use it anymore.
Receivers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not GPS. Not GPS.
It's not GPS.
GPS, they receives it and sends it back out to the next location.
It's not used for anything now. Use some shit off the coast of Florida, for real, dude.
GPS doesn't work on repeaters. That's not how GPS works.
This is bad. This is pathetic for you guys. Actually, whenever you claim satellites, they send relays. You guys don't even know what you're talking about.
No, that's not how GPS works.
Okay, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong. GPS does not work by relaying signals.
Alright, so this is kind of wild for a second. So what we're going to do to help WITSIT, just for the duration is here, is we're going to give WITSIT a mute button. We're going to test it out. So WITSIT, don't abuse it. If you want the person... So this is in order for you to stop shouting, and everyone to stop shouting. So if you want to make your point, and you feel someone's interrupting you, you'll be able to mute them, and obviously... You know, stuff like that. So, let's start again. Let's give you that roll. We're going to test it out. So, have you got your mute button, WITSIT?
Earned. I think it was
WITSIT.
Yes.
You got your mute button?
So I can take over now.
WITSIT, have you got your mute button?
I do.
Good. So, you should not have to shout now as loud, okay? If you feel that anyone's interrupting you, you can just mute them. And you're going to have control for the time that you're here. And obviously when you're gone, we're going to remove it. It's just temporary. We're just testing something out just to keep you calmer so we can get your points out more coherently. Take it away, WITSIT.
Johnny is...
Okay, so when you send signals out over water, right, sometimes you will have a receiver that is in the air, and it's typically high altitude balloons. You can research it. They work very, very well when you send a whole fleet out. So then most of the time when we use the GPS function, it's on the land, and we're using towers. Over 99% of all transmission use towers. Occasionally over vast distances, they'll receive with towers and send back over as well. So this in no way proves the Earth's a ball, and we're talking about the centralized location of the geographic North Pole, which has evolved into the use case of GPS.
What's in the GPS signals?
Do you know, Austin, do you know about the HPS hubs?
I believe I asked a question. What's in the
high
GPS signals?
Platform stations.
Radio waves.
No.
What information is contained in the GPS signals?
Your location.
The GPS signals don't contain your location. Your location is worked out from the GPS signals. How can they already contain your location? When your location is worked out from the signals.
You're receiving the signal because it hits you and then comes back.
That's not how they work.
Oh, so it's not how they work. How do they work?
I mean, anyone can decode a GPS signal and realize that it doesn't contain everybody's location.
So you agree that you guys can't actually address what I said as pertinent to the discussion?
I am addressing what you're saying. GPS signals, the same GPS signal is received by multiple receivers. Everyone receives the same GPS signal. So how can that signal possibly contain the location of everyone?
No, I didn't say that. I said that when you receive it and send it back, it retains your location. That's how you get it.
There's no transmitter in a GPS ground station. There's no transmitter in a GPS ground station.
Okay, so the geographic North Pole you do not need to know that to use GPS. Do we agree?
No, we don't agree. Like I said, GPS does not send signals. A GPS receiver only receives signals. So how can it know where you are?
Yeah, it receives the signal you send out.
Oh, it's
no, it doesn't.
Sending involved.
Oh, so something doesn't come off of your location and come back.
That's right.
Those buoys in the ocean actually receive signals of high tides and low tides.
You literally don't know how GPS even works.
Yeah, no, I literally know. That.
How's the boat know?
Has just displayed as utmost ignorance about GPS. It's stunning that you even still got the gall to be here in this channel with that lack of understanding about something you're prepared to take to the end.
No, you're trying so hard to pinpoint
flat Earth about. It's just
okay, so we get it. You got it out. You got all your little bullshit out. We get it. Okay, but the truth is that I was explaining that you guys don't know how it works. It is in no way exclusive to a globe Earth, and literally it has to use your centralized location to map out the terrain. I'm asking you guys questions to see if you guys know, and now you try to taunt and run back like you know everything. Here's the deal. GPS doesn't prove the Earth's a ball. It doesn't have anything to do with the geographic North Pole. Agree or disagree?
Do you, as the receiver of the GPS signal, send or transmit a message back to the satellite?
That's all you guys see. This is the GPS thing was diverting away from the fact that we cannot verify the geographic North Pole. Someone invoked GPS as if it does, and I said no. So to move on, we can agree GPS has nothing to do with the Earth being a ball or that.
Of course it does, because the GPS signal, the trilateration of the GPS signal is based on us being on a spheroid.
Yeah,
so if you...
Hey, comrade, can we circumnavigate Polaris, yes or no? Just ask that, WITSIT. That solves it right there. There is no
we do that every day, David. David, that happens every day with the rotation of the globe.
Get to where you're from and keep Polaris in your vision. There is no proof of that at all on this planet.
Everybody in the Northern Hemisphere can do that.
No one has ever done it, so why lie? Why just sit there and lie, comrade? Why don't you just admit you're under communist mind control and come out of it? How about if I do this?
Holy crap, David. I mean,
all right, so guys, you guys do agree, though, that, again, GPS is not mutually exclusive to a ball.
Yes.
Right?
Well, yes, it is exclusive to a ball because it requires satellites to be in orbit around said ball.
I thought they were in geostationary orbit.
No,
No, they're not.
Yes, you don't know.
But most of them are actually, like
they're
in the
not.
90 percentile.
No, they're not in geostationary orbit. That's false. You don't
I know. A
anything
ton
about
of them
it, do you?
are claimed to be in
put in
quote
the big
unquote.
book of things WITSIT doesn't know bollocks about.
No, this is a fact. So, according to your little fairy tale, a lot of the quote unquote satellites are geostationary satellites.
But not GPS satellites.
Right, because the GPS
No
location.
GPS satellites are geostationary.
Because it fluctuates some, right?
No GPS satellites are geostationary. That's all we're saying.
Okay, and so it just because the satellites just fluctuate location a little bit, right?
No, it's in
They fluctuate a lot.
Oh,
Yes, in orbit.
Okay, so can you verify
No,
that they're
hold-
actually
hold
free
on.
falling around a ball that's spinning? Or
Yeah,
are you just saying that?
Yes, I've done that. I've taken a directional antenna, high gain antenna, and pointed it at a satellite, and you have to track it around the sky.
Yeah,
have
of
to
course you
move
do.
it
It's moving around in the sky.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that doesn't prove the Earth's moving.
Using a spectrum analyzer, you can distinguish one satellite out of the array, out of the cluster,
and it's moving.
follow it across the sky. That's how they all work. They're
Okay,
all
what is
in
it?
equispaced orbit.
What does that have to do with proving that the Earth is spinning?
WITSIT, your telephone, your hand phone, your cell phone computes your location.
Okay.
There's a lot of nonsense about phones' GPS system. Phones use a complicated system for location. They use an assisted or integrated system that involves the cell towers, your Wi-Fi information, and, if available, GPS.
Okay, it uses the cell towers. Yeah, we get it.
Phones are not a good example of how the GPS system works, because most of the time, sitting indoors, it cannot see the GPS satellites. This is true. It works your location out predominantly from
So you just admitted that the GPS
devices.
doesn't have
But
to
if you
have
a
fairy tale
GPS
satellites.
only receiver, if you have a GPS, if you have like a Garmin or a TomTom, especially from a few years ago, they did not use the assisted system. They did not use the augmented system. They used the satellites only. And from them, you do not get any assistance
That's
from the
not true.
tower. And they can take a few minutes to get your location, because they have to synchronize. They have to wait until they can receive enough of the orbiting satellites to get a location.
Okay, you mean the signal from the fleet of high-altitude balloons. So can we get back to the fact that this is not exclusive
balloons.
to a
They're not high-altitude
Dude,
balloons.
don't make me mute you, dude. You just monologue,
because
dude.
their orbital speed is given away.
Bruh, it's not your turn.
Doppler shift of their RF frequency. So that's how you can determine when things are not in orbit, or they are in orbit. That's when you can determine things are not stationary high altitude balloons, because you cannot emulate the Doppler shift from the orbital speed with a stationary satellite balloon.
Well, no, it moves. The balloons move, dude. So, anyway,
But
stop
you
interrupting. Listen, if
cannot-
you're interrupting again, dude, I swear I'll mute you.
cannot
dude.
emulate the required Doppler shift that you can from high altitude.
I just want to say something. If those buoys are just receivers, then how do they get data from them about waves and weather conditions? Those buoys in the ocean, they must transmit a signal back.
That's not GPS. That's an entirely different subject.
Yes, it is
That's
GPS.
a research network. That's a research network of oceanography. That's got nothing to do with
It's a
navigation.
GPS tower. Yes, it does.
Hey, while I go grab this drink real fast, maybe we can venture our way back to the actual subject, which is that there's no empirical
No,
verifiable
because
evidence of the geographic North Pole.
GPS is a great proof of the spheroid. Because the way that the signal is trilaterated in three-dimensional space, it plots points around a spheroid.
Okay, so to move specific to the GPS discussion, you're willing to admit that the geographic North Pole being accurate on this ball Earth is not actually a requirement to the use case of GPS, right?
That's just you building a straw man to avoid.
No, just answer it yes or no so we can move on.
Why would we answer a straw man?
No, well, no.
Man, that we answer some nonsense of yours. Who the fuck do
No,
you think you
I'm
are?
asking. It's not a
You're
straw man, I'm
nonsense.
asking.
You're doing it again. You think you're clever, bringing up
No,
these
look,
questions.
I'm not trying to straw man you guys. That's why I'm
Yes,
trying to
you are.
ask
It's
you
just
the
straw man.
question.
That's all you
I'm
got
asking,
is
in
straw
your
man.
opinion,
You are just all straw men. You're
I'll mute you
completely
too,
wrong.
dude.
about this idea that you would only definitively declare your location at the North Pole by triangulating a 90 degrees then to the Polaris. It's just a little bollocks that you generated to try and catch us out because you're so
my turn now. All I'm saying is I'm not trying to straw man you guys. That's why I'm asking. In your opinion, right, is the geographic location of the North Pole on this ball Earth a requirement for the use case of GPS? Yes or no?
System doesn't give a shit where the North Pole is.
Okay, thank you. So then, whenever someone brought GPS about the geographic location of North Pole, it was a non sequitur, like I called out at the time. So we can move on to GPS. Sorry, you don't have actual empirical evidence of the North Pole.
No.
Locate the North Pole. GPS is perfectly capable of locating the North Pole.
Oh, but you agree that the North Pole being accurate on this globe Earth is not a requirement for GPS to work. You just said that, so there's no empirical geographic location.
What are you babbling about? You are making absolutely no sense whatsoever.
There's no empirical evidence of the claim of the
location on the Earth is not required for the accuracy or the function of GPS. No location on the Earth is required for the function and utility of GPS. No location. All locations can be determined from the use of GPS.
Including the North Pole.
Yeah, you don't have any celestial evidence of the 90-degree zenith angle.
I do actually mean all locations. I don't mean then try and trot out a little list of things I might have forgotten about. It means all locations are covered by GPS.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm getting a drink. I'm losing service. Go for it. Spiral and claim victory.
Yeah, we're spiraling. Too hard.
It's very nice if somebody can just relax and drink some.
Right. So tracking stations determine the orbits of the satellites. There's a command center that transmits orbital data and time corrections of all the other satellites. The satellites themselves constantly transmit synchronized time and orbital data to Earth. Just a minute. Shut up. Shut up, not done. Not done. Shut up. Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay. Hey, calm down.
Shut up. Shut up.
Okay, we heard you say it. Just calm down. Let Brenda finish.
So, and then number 4, the GPS receivers compute the location based on time differences in the arrival of the signals from the satellites. So it's not contained inherent, it's not like they give commands about where your location is. The location is calculated or computed.
Right. And so when we calculate it, when it comes to the discussion of the geographic North Pole, it's just under the assumption that there is a ball Earth and that there's a central point. And actually, it can be verified with the 90-degree zenith angle, though.
It's not an assumption. It's a known fact.
Well, to know it as a fact, you would need empirical evidence, meaning verifiable, testable, repeatable, falsifiable, which means that you would need a 90-degree zenith angle.
Yeah, we have a 90-degree zenith angle.
You have the observation of a 90-degree zenith angle from the geographic North Pole?
Let's see where my phone thinks I am. Oh, yeah, look, my phone's got my location correct. Verified.
We're talking about the North Pole.
Yeah, there's a 90-degree zenith at the North Pole, of course.
Okay, do we have an observation that actually verifies that at the geographic North Pole claim?
This is not verification of anything. Your method of determining where you are is bogus.
Okay, but you agree that if you think there's a 90-degree zenith angle...
I'm not going to agree with anything that you straw man.
Don't interrupt me, dude.
Don't interrupt me, dude. I'm not going to agree with any straw man that you create.
Intrinsically in
not
the claim that you're at the...
Doesn't matter how many big words you use.
Relax, listen to him.
Bizarre, try
Okay,
and let
so-
me get it out, though.
Yeah, intrinsically in the claim that this is the geographic North Pole, no matter where that is relative to the sky, directly up from there, you'll have a 90-degree zenith angle. They claim to know the location of this, right? So we should be able to go there and then get our 90-degree zenith angle and see how it co-aligns with the sky. Should be easy.
Maybe.
Yeah,
The hard part
hard.
is going to the North Pole in the winter.
Yeah, so that's all you got to do to get this vital piece of this it'd be like one of the most famous pictures ever.
Oh,
do you agree?
For stars, dude.
No, you have to be at the actual center and verify it and show you what the sky looks like there.
From a picture that it's the North Pole.
Well, you can figure out the 90-degree zenith angle from where.
Why do you have to go to the North Pole though?
Because that would be the center.
But you can just see it.
No, but you want to be there when you
North
see
Pole? I've
it.
never been in. Have you been in North Pole, Brenda? Have you been in North Pole?
Of course. So you can just see the central axis of rotation simply by taking long exposure photographs of the nighttime sky in the northern latitudes.
Well, why don't just do it right at the center, though, to get the 90-degree zenith angle?
Why do you have to go to the center? You can
Because
just.
that's the only place you can get the 90-degree zenith angle.
But you can just see it.
No, you can't see the angle of 9 degrees until you get to where you can see it from, which is the supposed geographic North Pole.
It's not true.
Yeah, how do you make a 90-degree angle without coming down to that location?
Austin, can you shut the fuck up? I'm talking with Brenda, okay? Can you shut the fuck up for one time?
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you.
Or you could quite legitimately make the legitimate assumption that the North Star, Polaris, occupies a single location in space. You could then take zenith
Why are you
angles from a
talking?
number. You could then take a number of
Why are you
zenith
talking?
angles.
No,
Excuse me, why are you being so rude and interrupting me?
Yeah, stop
You
interrupting.
could then take. Really, you could then take a number of zenith angles from different locations all around the globe and realize that if you made the assumption that the Earth was flat, that would require Polaris to be in different positions in the sky for each of those observations. Seeing as we know that that's not a reasonable assumption, we could conclude that that means the Earth is not flat.
Okay, so we would actually need a verifiable observation of the 90-degree zenith angle right in the center of this supposed geographic North Pole, and then we would be able to 100% without any question tell you what the Earth is mapped out relative to the movement in the sky.
So you literally just whistled past exactly what I said. No, you don't need a 90-degree zenith angle from under the North Pole, from the North Pole. All you need to do is have zenith angles from different locations around the Earth's surface and realize that if Polaris occupies a single location in space, that does not comport to a flat Earth because those angles, as directly measured, would require Polaris to be in said different locations.
Wait, you're telling me that the flat Earth would require Polaris be in different locations, not that maybe the perception of it changes the closer you get to it? Wow, you really thought this one through.
Observed measurements of Polaris show that it would require it to be in different locations if the Earth was flat.
Okay. Well, what we need is the actual central point of observation to make any said claim.
Why?
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory why we've discussed it for like
it's
10
not.
minutes.
Why do you don't need that? You don't.
Yeah, you do.
Taking angle measurements isn't
There's no way
hard.
to talk because Austin will all body. It doesn't matter if it's flat or.
So are you like hammered?
He's very hammered. He was hammered hours ago when he got here. Isn't it the case though that if you were filming star trails, the only place on a flat Earth you would get circular star trails would be at the North Pole looking straight up.
No.
Everywhere else you should get a sort of an elliptical star trail.
No, your like limit of perspective cuts off. You only have a certain window of view, but you're looking towards the north, towards the
That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Yes, I know what he said, and
I don't think you did
to
understand what he said. I think you misunderstood him.
I can verbatim almost say what he said. It'd be like an elliptical orbit if it was central to Polaris over a flat Earth. So, do you want to stop interrupting?
What WITSIT is saying is legitimately insert magic here for an explanation.
No. You can only see so far. That's why you can't see Polaris forever. You can only see a certain portion of the sky. Now, when you're looking north, you're looking at the convergence or the cyclical nature around the center point. So you can only see so much of it. But yeah, you would always see that. That's what's happening. The sky
It's
moves
always
around the central
circular,
point.
and you're saying that we're looking at it from an angle.
We're over a
at
circle.
some point, quite an oblique angle. So,
Well, yeah. What if it's layered to make a perception where it's perfect, almost perfect in the entire northern hemisphere?
well, that is inserting magic.
No. It's like the point is that there's a circular movement of the sky over top of us, and And we know that. And so we can try to map out our location on the Earth because the sky stays the same forever. It's very reliable.
But on a globe, when you point at the northern celestial pole or the southern celestial pole, wherever you are, if you record for a period of time, you'll get a circular star trail. And it seems to me on a flat Earth, that should only be possible at the North Pole. Everywhere else, you should get a ever increasing ellipse, right? Something gradually getting more and more elliptical.
Why would you get that?
Sorry?
Because when you view circles from the side, they are ellipses.
Oh, okay. So you know the actual layers of the stars relative to the location of the Earth, and you're able to actually map out the angle.
But I'm
to
working
them,
on 2 assumptions: one, that the ground is flat, and 2, that the stars are relatively close in terms of
and level.
How we no, they wouldn't have to be level.
Yes, actually, your claim would be dependent upon saying that they're at the same altitude. Yes.
You understand that if you look at a circle from an angle, it's an ellipse, right?
You understand that if that circle's layered, then you'll be able to find a medium area where it looks the same, right?
What's a layered?
No, I don't think that's true.
Okay, well, maybe you should look into it. And guys, the fact the sky moves in perfect circles over top of us is a flat Earth proof.
What's a layered circle in your mind?
Yeah, the stars could be at different altitudes. I don't know.
So it's
something they're contained within could be moving itself. I don't know. I don't make claims I don't know. I know that it doesn't comport with the globe Earth, and there has to be a certain geographic North Pole. And you have to validate it, not just make us blindly believe it by saying it over and over, because we can get angle observations away from it. That's stupid.
WITSIT, even if they're layered, viewing them from an angle would make it an ellipse.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
that's how geometry works.
Hey, if you're perfectly in front of me and I draw a circle and I move further away from you, is it still a circle?
Not if it's layered and it's based on where you are at the certain angles. If the angles lined up perfectly, it would maintain the illusion of a perfect circle. You have to interrupt me. In addition to this, the sky moves in a circle over top of the flat Earth, central to Polaris, and you can't even let us go validate the location of the geographic North Pole with Polaris.
Hey, dude, prove what you just said was true, that these layered circles exist.
I didn't say that they existed.
Dude, you just did. You made the claim.
That it would happen that way is what you're saying?
Assuming that they are.
That would happen that way is what you're saying. I never claimed that I knew that's what the sky was doing.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't, dude. I specifically said I don't claim to know exactly what the sky is doing.
You just said it. Why are we talking about the very claim you made if you didn't make the claim?
Oh, I was just showing there's many different explanations as to why we perceive things, but all of them include the Earth not moving and then the sky moving around the center point.
Valid.
Well, we do have parallax.
You're proposing
valid.
Well, you need to show that necessarily that what you claim would happen would in fact happen, and we're disputing whether that would actually
Okay, well, you don't have
happen.
parallax, and the sky moves over. Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to tell me how to interpret the sky moving around, and my point is, well, the sky moves around, and the best way to understand that, would you actually accurately map out the geographic North.
But your understanding of it has been shown to have holes in it, WITSIT.
What? You just want to ignore perception.
Well, but we're not ignoring perception. In fact, perception is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, perspective.
You're saying that it should be a circle, but if we move out to the outer rings, it appears to be an ellipsoid. So that's a hole, WITSIT.
The same thing as a neodymium magnet.
Layered, meaning that some stars are further away than others, doesn't change the fact that you're still viewing it from an angle and it's still an ellipsoid.
Yeah, dude. So the sky moves in a circle around you. You're telling me that the Earth was flat. As you get further away, it turned to an ellipsoid. Truth is, you can only see it so far. The change would be so minuscule, not even observable. You can't even see Polaris all over the Earth. And then what you get is a certain window frame of view that you see just part of a rotation over top of you.
Not perceiving.
Red herring, because as you look at a circle, no matter what distance you look at that circle from, if you're looking at it at an angle, it will look like an ellipse, irrespective of the distance you look at it from.
But it's relative to how far away you get from it and how big it is, right? Yeah, and in basic geometry, you need to know how far away you are from it and how big it is.
He does not understand that.
The properties of circles don't change just because you say they do.
No, to know the amount of change and how much would be perceivable, you need to know your distance from it and how big it is.
Your distance from a circle doesn't change the amount of ellipse that you see when you look at it from an angle. Regardless of what distance you are from the circle, you will see the same ellipse.
Wrong.
It's
Yeah, no,
more
wrong.
larger.
If you're further away, you'll start to see it slower. Duh.
You're either claiming that the change is minuscule and you can't measure it, which goes back to Jem's point that you should see it as a circle no matter where you are on the Earth, or the change is perceptible and it would be an ellipsoid. You can't have both.
Well, there's a simple disproof of flat Earth with the Polaris. There's a very
No, you haven't even verified the zenith angle.
You don't need to. So
yes, you do.
For this, I would say that the angle that viewers see Polaris at decreases or increases in a linear fashion on a globe. On a flat Earth, it would increase or decrease asymptotically. And that's the difference.
Okay, so I already explained to you that if based on how far away you are from it, you'll perceive the change of perception slower with more distance away.
Yeah, but I'm saying on a globe.
Wait, do you want to concede that's true?
No, on a globe that would not be true.
Well, there's not a globe. You were just straw manning a flat Earth, and then I dismantled it, and now you're going back to the globe.
No, I'm saying the test is on a globe. The angle to Polaris will change in a linear scalar fashion. On a flat Earth, it would change as an asymptote, and at nonlinear fashion. That's the difference.
Okay, so did you hear what I said? You can't just look at the sky, make up stories of it without verifying the 9-degree zenith angle with Polaris, and then tell me how it should look on a flat Earth when we don't even make claims as to what is the makeup of the medium of what we see in the sky is.
Dude,
to claim that we don't need to know the different altitudes and the characteristic of what we're perceiving and what it changes, how it changes relative to getting further away from the center is so incredibly dishonest.
You're adding shit.
Okay, well, maybe you should listen.
So the test that I just mentioned was brought up by McToon last night in his debate, which is simply that the angle to Polaris on a globe increases or changes in a linear fashion. On a flat Earth, it would change as an asymptote. You know what an asymptote is, right?
Yeah, we just discussed this, Brenda, and then I told you that you are just assuming the Earth's a ball and mapping the sky's perception out relative to that, and you're asking me to replace it by strawmanning a flat Earth model using trigonometry we don't use because it doesn't even account for perspective change, and we know that there's a ton of we don't know exactly what the sky is.
Now, WITSIT, that's interesting, but what you're basically saying is that 60 nautical miles to the degree is how perspective works. That's a little odd,
Wait, are you saying that you wouldn't have to account for perspective change whenever trying to invoke trigonometry?
That is oddly specific. It has to be exactly 60 nautical miles to the degree for your understanding of perspective to work. And that's weird.
No, that's not true. So you're strawmanning my understanding of perspective. My understanding of perspective is that you don't even know all of the characteristics at play to understand the change in what you're perceiving.
You don't understand perspective, WITSIT. You don't understand that a circle seen from an angle is an ellipse.
I've already rebutted that.
You've rebutted that. Could you repeat the rebuttal, please?
Yeah, so there is a proportionate relationship in the change of perception relative to the distance away the viewer is and how big the ultimate circle is relative to their location. This is objective.
That's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. It's amazing.
Yeah, so you got nothing. Okay, cool. So let's move back on.
Here's a simple rebuttal to them.
Just amazing.
Yeah,
you got
that was just complete nonsense because
no
matter
when I say it's objective, if you're not smart enough to keep up
I believe you're interrupting me. Complete nonsense because no matter how far you are away from a circle, if you're looking at it from an angle, it will look like an ellipse.
But in order to know the angle, right, because the change will be relative to the angle, then you would need to know the full size of the circle and your different distance away from it. How do you get your angles in?
And the
How do you
angle
get your
that you're
angles in?
looking and the
Hold
angle
on.
that you're looking at does not depend upon the distance that you are away from.
Okay, how do you get your angle?
Yeah. I was about to call you Lemon Witsit.
How do you get your angle? How do you get your angle?
Witsit. That doesn't your word salad doesn't change the fact
Then
that
how do you get the angle?
a circle when viewed from any other angle than straight on is an ellipse.
Yeah, and then the change to the ellipse being perceived is relative to the angle. So how do you get your angle?
Just hear what I said. Any angle other than 90 degrees, in other words, looking straight at it, every circle becomes an ellipse.
Yeah, but what if it's 89.9999999? Would you be able to tell the difference? Would you be able to tell the difference?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, you can.
You would not be able to tell the difference by looking up in the sky on a flat Earth. It's stupid.
Well, here's the whole thing. Here's the thing. And then you have other circles that are bigger than that circle that are closer down towards the Earth. And it keeps going and going and going until you have damn near what's supposed to look like a straight line.
Would you need to know how big the circle is relative to your location to get the angle? Yes or no? So how do you get the angle then?
No. Dude,
Get the angles
what part of
simply
an
from
ellipse?
looking at it.
Yeah, you can't respond. How do you get the angles?
So we can just look at the angle of the Polaris, and then that's our angle to
You can use
the
a
circle at
protractor
the
if you
center.
wanted to.
Right?
Okay, so we just look up at Polaris, and we don't. So this isn't. We're not actually getting an angle then.
You don't need a distance.
Well, then we're not getting an angle.
Yes, you are.
You're not getting the full entirety of the angle relative to the Earth because you have to map out a different point on the Earth, dude.
That's what the entire purpose of a sextant is.
Okay, what is this? What's the 90 degree on the sextant?
Crap on toast. It's the same, man. God,
It's the same, man. It's assumed to be in a certain location. You guys don't understand anything.
So,
I want to ask.
90 degrees from
assumed to be in a
not
certain
the fucking
location.
North Pole, dipshit.
Okay, there you go. Back to the North Pole. Can we please verify the geographic? You don't even know that I'm setting you guys up. The geographic North Pole location,
it's
please,
not
because we
set
need
up.
it
He
to make
set
all
us
your
up for the
claims.
He set us up for the
Unless there's a fucking hole in the middle of the goddamn Arctic, you don't have a point.
Well, there's no empirical observation of this 90-degree zenith
Is
angle. We
there
would
a
need that
giant
to start.
hole in the middle? Or is there
What?
another ice wall where the Polarians are, like you dumbass motherfucker believe?
Okay, so yeah, there could be a hole in the middle. I don't know.
Witsit, in your conjecture, do the stars move in circles around Polaris?
Yeah, they do. And this is me critiquing your conjecture.
Okay, the follow-up question for that would be, if I have to look at any other angle other than straight up, is Polaris above me?
No.
Well, if
Well, yeah,
Polaris,
it's still technically above you.
if Polaris is not directly above me,
There
then
you go.
aren't I looking at it at an angle?
This would be correct.
So those circling stars that are apparently circling flat around Polaris, we would be looking at those circles from an angle, wouldn't we?
But to get the proper angle, you need to know the actual location of Polaris relative to where you are on the Earth.
That's not the point. The point
It
is
is
that
the
we
point.
are. The point is that we are looking at it from an angle, aren't we?
Yeah, but to know what the
regardless
angle
of whether we know
is-
that, regardless of whether we know that angle or not, aren't we looking at it from an angle?
Obviously, dude.
So yeah.
Well, then obviously, we would be seeing those circles as ellipses. Then, if we're obviously looking at it from an angle.
Well, what if Polaris is huge and it's just so high up that it just fits right in the middle and we
Then
can't tell exactly
the
where it
angle
is?
of Polaris would never change as you move across the Earth.
Gravity. I want to ask Gravity.
As you move across the flat Earth, the angle of Polaris would never change. It'd always be right overhead if what you're saying is true.
It changes some.
I want to ask Gravity I want to ask Gravity a question. Gravity, do you realize that you are arguing, and you have an advanced degree, and you are arguing with somebody who has been spent the last half hour contesting whether or not circles seen from an angle are ellipses?
That's not what I contested at all.
ridiculous,
That's a
isn't it?
straw
It's
man.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, you had to straw man me and then
He's
try
also
to actually
saying-
talk to
he's-
someone
he's
else so you
also-
could just try to beat me
He's
up.
also saying that we apparently have to happen to be looking at Polaris straight up all the time.
It seems like you guys just have a big habit of making up what I say and then trying to beat up straw mans. So I never said that there wouldn't be a perceivable change to an elliptical orbit. I actually said there would be, and that in order to know the rate of the change in their perception, you have to have the proper angle. This requires apparent location. You need the actual location, not just the apparent location. So apparent location.
But the thing is,
WITSIT,
WITSIT, that we don't see.
I accidentally went off.
But the thing is, WITSIT, we don't see any elliptical paths, do we? We only see circular paths. So your point that we
you
would see
need to
ellipses,
know.
we don't. Why are you interrupting me?
don't.
Why are you interrupting? Well, we
'Cause you're
don't.
just looping
we
the same
don't.
straw man.
We don't see elliptical paths. We only ever see circular paths.
Okay, yeah, to
With
be expected because we don't fully understand what the sky is, but it moves in a perfect circle over top of the Earth, and it could be layered in altitude. We don't know how big the Polaris is or the layering of the altitude.
You repeating it doesn't change that. It would still create ellipsoids.
Okay, so if you don't actually know the layers of altitude and the relative sizes, and you don't actually know the 90-degree zenith angle to map out from the central point, you're just making straw man claims against the flat
That's not
Earth
a
map
straw
that no
man.
one adheres to.
No one said anything about a map. I don't know where you're getting that.
Model. There you go. I said model now. Would you like to respond?
And also to the point of you claiming that we don't know what the sky is, kind of does nothing for you discrediting our model, does it?
Yeah. Here's the deal. Your model hasn't even been verified yet because you need to get the 9-degree zenith angle to the geographic North Pole. So stop invoking your model as if it's fact and as it should hold some way because it doesn't.
You've just said you know nothing about what the sky is. So how can you discredit our model?
Because I know that your model hasn't even been verified yet. It requires the 90-degree zenith angle at the geographic North Pole. That observation's never been made.
But you're not claiming any knowledge. So
Falsifications independent of replacement.
How can you discredit our model if you don't claim any knowledge about what the sky is?
Well, falsifications independent of replacement. I am
not
pointing out
talking-
that your model is nowhere close to empirical, meaning verifiable, testable, repeatable, and falsifiable. Because
To do that, to point that out, you would require some knowledge of what the sky is.
Yeah, the sky's a clock. It moves around over top of us for all recorded
There you go.
history.
You're making a replacement.
No, I'm just saying objectively what the sky does.
That's
But you just literally said that you don't know what the sky does.
The sky moves
a
over
couple
top of us in a
sentences
cyclical nature, doesn't it?
That thing, you know what it does.
Does it do that? Yes or no?
Does it?
Yeah, does the sky move over top of us in a cycle?
So let me get this right. Sometimes you're claiming you know what the sky is and what it does, but then when it's convenient, you're then claiming that you don't know anything about the sky.
No, I never claim what it is and what it does. I just claim what it does, and then when you try to strawman corner me into claiming what it is, I say we don't actually have all the empirical evidence required to make that claim.
He's literally running around in circles, right?
You're getting dismantled. So the sky moves in a cycle, right?
On what it does.
Does the sky move in a cycle?
Do you listen to yourself?
Does the sky move in a cycle? Yes or no?
I'm done talking to you, dude.
No one can answer. That's funny. This whole room of 65 people got real quiet.
How does the cycle look like? They're
Does
spiraling.
the sky move in a cycle?
Is it straight? Is it
You
right?
mean like the zodiac?
Is there a cycle of movement in the sky? Yes or no?
You mean like the zodiac?
No,
Yes.
it's a
Sky
cloud.
doesn't move at all with it.
Hold up. That's bait.
The
So
sky
you're
doesn't
saying
move
that
at all.
So nobody heard
Hold
of the
up.
Saros
So
cycle
you're
here.
talking
right?
What about clouds?
Saros cycle? Hello,
Clouds in the
anybody?
sky?
He's talking about like the zodiac, right? What's it?
The sky itself resets over top of
Okay,
us.
so no, hold on.
No,
Where
you're not
are-
straw manning me.
where are the other- no, it's not a straw man. So where are the other 12 constellations in the cycle?
Okay, so does the sky not reset in a cyclical nature over top of us? Yes or no?
The zodiac, we got that. So I'm just curious, where are the other 11 constellations that comprise the zodiac
Why are you asking
Where are
about
those
zodiacs and questions? No,
during-
the sky resets in a cycle over top of us. Now, Brenda at least
No, it
knows
doesn't.
enough
No.
about your model to know that she has to at least take the preposterous claim that actually the sky is
Yeah,
still and it's the
I don't-
Earth moving that does
I
that.
don't live in a model. This doesn't work on you. This doesn't work on me. I don't live in a model. I don't.
Yeah, you do. You think the Earth's a globe Earth model?
I'm not a glober. How
Okay,
many
so you
times
agree
have
the
I
radius
seen you?
value of 3959 has no empirical evidence?
I don't care about
Oh,
balls.
convenient.
He doesn't
No,
agree
it's
about
not.
anything. He just asks.
Yeah,
for
he thinks this gives him like a bulletproof window
Yeah.
to just critique
Yeah,
and
yeah,
act like
yeah.
he's not a glober.
Don't
It's just
even
like
talk to
Ranty
this
won't
guy,
actually
Witsit. You're
stake
wasting
the
your time.
specific model claim.
Ask him a question. How does it
Oh,
work?
Okay, yeah. So
how
the
does
sky,
it work, Beard?
yeah, the sky
How
resets
does
like a
the sky
clock.
work?
So yeah, do you agree with Brenda that the
he
sky?
Asked you, he asked
Wait,
you
can
a
I-
question.
Wait, I'm trying
He
to
asked
figure
you
this
one.
out, guys.
Well,
Listen.
let me
do you agree with
restate it
Brenda?
for you. Let me restate it for you. Where are the rest of the constellations that you can't see that you can only see from the southern hemisphere? That's what he's asking you.
They're in daylight. They're in daylight on the other side of the Earth.
On the other side of that world, in the southern hemisphere, that the northern hemisphere never sees. The northern
You see
hemisphere
a
never sees the
see a
southern
small
constellations.
portion of the sky. You see a small portion of the sky at night.
Yeah,
You see a
so-
small portion of the sky during the day.
Yeah,
if
and you
you
only
go
see
to
a
a
small
different-
portion
There's a
of it
portion
relative
of
to
the
the
air
Earth.
that you never see. if
Guys, you
don't
guys
move
are
your
running
geographical
away.
location.
So do you
Go
agree
ahead,
with
Vincent.
Brenda that the sky is cyclical, but in fact the sky isn't moving? It just looks like that. It's actually still, and it's because the Earth is moving that causes
Brenda
that.
these questions, dude. Why are you asking everybody else if we agree with?
Wait, just
Brenda?
I'm saying, do you agree with that? Is that your religious belief?
I don't have a religious belief. I don't have beliefs.
Objectively, what happens with
Okay, so you guys do believe that the Earth is actually moving.
Why are you? Dude,
I'm just
you
trying
know
to make
my
sure we get it out there for
fallacy,
everybody
right?
to understand, right? So, like this, we
You're
know for a
building
fact.
straw man.
No, I'm not. You just now said
Yeah,
you
you
know that
are.
the Earth moves.
What's your position on it, Beard? Since you're in the conversation, what's your position on the situation?
There are no valid arguments for the flat Earth.
There you go, Witsit. That's all you got to
Yeah, of
do
course.
with this guy. Game
Well,
over.
I believe that you can see different constellations from different hemispheres. Like, I believe that.
Okay, exactly. Yeah, that's what has to be expected over flat Earth. So just to lay it out, this is objectively what the situation here is, guys. You say that we see the cycle of movement in the sky, but
Witsit,
actually the sky is still.
We're not talking about the fact that it's a cycle. We're talking about the fact that in the southern hemisphere there are constellations that the northern hemisphere never sees.
Yeah,
ever.
that's to be expected on a
Ever.
flat Earth
No,
because you
it
can only
isn't.
see a
It
small
doesn't make
portion
any
at a
sense on
time.
a flat
And
Earth
actually,
at all.
why are you interrupting? We were talking about the cyclical nature of the sky, and then you diverted to make up some other question
No,
about
that's
the
what
southern
the question was
constellations.
about. And you
No,
tried
the
to make
question
about
was about the cycle of the sky.
and you ignored the fact that he was talking about the southern hemisphere constellations.
I already addressed them. I said, you can't see them forever. You can only see a small portion relative to your location.
God,
Back
Witsit,
to the actual.
that doesn't address the question.
Why
Witsit.
not?
Because they're constellations that the northern hemisphere will never see.
Because they're
No matter
farther away from
how
them.
long you wait, the northern hemisphere will
Yeah,
never
we know
see
that.
those
Welcome to flat
constellations. You
Earth.
can wait-
Hold on. Witsit, real quick. If I'm in Texas and I'm looking dead north, right, towards the middle of the flat Earth, right, and I see stars, right, logic dictates that those are on the other side, right? They're past the ones that are straight above me, and they're past Polaris. They would have to keep going past that for me to see them, right? There's no like weird vertical wall of stars that I'm just looking at like a giant sheet, right? It's not a projection. So if I can see those stars close to the ground, all the way straight ahead of me for thousands of miles, how is it that somebody in, I don't know, why can't I see here from Texas ones that would be over, I don't know, South America, say like Brazil, not Brazil, but I'm
Are you
lost
done?
for places. I'm off for places.
Okay. Well, you're off for the whole point. So yeah, you don't see forever, man. The further away south you get, you don't see the stars in the north anymore. Vice versa is also true. Now, what you're saying is, well, how can we see so far in the north and then in the south it would stand to reason that from the north we could see it? I promise it's because there's a sphere edge of convex
Hold on.
permablock.
You're still
I'm
not
making your
addressing
argument better
what
than
you
you,
see.
dude.
I didn't. I was trying to think of a country in like southern South America. Now I can't. I'm drawing a blank. But either way, Peru.
Argentina, Chile.
Peru.
So we can't see them because we can't see them. That's his answer.
Yeah, you can't see forever.
Oh my god.
You people are that
I'm looking at
dense.
stars that are over that or are supposedly over freaking Australia from Texas. So how the hell can I not see stars freaking the other way around? From Texas to freaking Peru.
Yeah, because as you get further out south, right, the span of what you're watching is also stretching out, centralized at the north. You're not listening. You don't even listen to what I say, dude.
Looking across the Arctic Circle.
What did I just say?
That are supposed to be over Australia.
What was my rebuttal?
You're sitting here telling me that I'm not doing that.
Nope, that's not my rebuttal. So you interrupted my rebuttal because you already knew what I was going to say, apparently, but obviously you
You're
didn't.
not addressing what I said.
Yes, I
That's
am.
what.
So as you go further out, listen then, dude. As you go further
out, dipshit. From Texas.
so south isn't going further out?
Please let WITSIT respond.
Yeah, as you go south, you go further out, okay? And then what you perceive is being stretched out relative to how far away you get from the center point, because that's what circles do.
Okay, now that was nothing of what I said.
Yeah, dude, I just answered what you said. Yeah, it's going to be relative to your location in the south. There's a totally different thing going on because the stars above you are way more stretched out in perception.
Hello? I'm in Texas looking across the Arctic Circle at stars that are both supposed to be above somewhere else on the other side of the world. On a flat Earth, mind you. I'm talking about on a flat Earth. So you're going to have to explain how I can do that, but I can't pivot 180 degrees and do the same damn thing.
I already did explain it. What was my rebuttal?
No, you didn't.
Then what was my rebuttal?
Dude.
You still don't know
You
it.
didn't rebut what I just said.
That means you're just lost, dude.
Its rebuttal is that the sky stretches as you move.
Thank you.
I got that part. That
Well, you
is
didn't respond to the
going
rebuttal.
Forward. Hello. Looking freaking towards the Arctic Circle. Past the Arctic Circle. 2 stars that are in the sky. Near my horizon. Why is it I can't turn around and do the same damn thing?
I already answered that because when you continue to look south, you have a more stretched out perspective.
No.
Yes.
No. That actually
okay, so we'll move on.
to do with perspective.
Then you don't understand it.
Okay. Let's move on with a different. Let's move on with a different argument then. From where I am in Australia, I can see a constellation called the Southern Cross or Crucis. Okay, it's fairly close to the Southern Celestial Pole. It's in the south, right? You guys from the north, if you're too far north, can't see it. Now, in winter, we have at least 15 hours of darkness, right? And I can go out any time it's dark and see those stars. Now, if I went out just after sunset, I can see those stars. I can also go out just before dawn and also see those stars 12 hours later. Okay, so if the stars were rotating around above a flat Earth, that would put those stars completely on the other side, wouldn't it? Across the North Pole. Why is it that I can see those stars at both of those times when your suggestion is that those stars become too far away to see, and yet I can see those stars all night?
How exactly is it that this doesn't work on a flat Earth?
Because you're claiming that the stars become too far away to see. You're claiming that Polaris becomes too far away to see. And yet apparently I'm looking at these stars of the Southern Cross at a greater distance across the Earth, as they're 12 hours later, they've rotated completely to the other side, right? And yet,
you're supposed to be on the other side of a ball. How can you see it? You tell me.
And yet these are southern stars. So if they were rotating around above us, they would be the maximum distance almost away from us, and yet we can still see them.
Okay, so why can we see them if we're on the other side of a ball?
Because you're not on the other side of the ball. WITSIT. You're the same location on the ball. Wait. The problem is on the flat Earth, you're on opposite sides of the flat Earth, but on a ball, you're really fucking close together in reality.
No.
I mean,
The
12,
actual
I mean,
curve of
12,
the
I mean,
Earth-
12 hours later than when those stars are at their closest position to me on your so-called flat Earth, they're at the furthest position, and Polaris should, in theory, be closer to me than those stars. And yet I can see those stars, but I can't see Polaris.
Yeah, dude. Expect it on a flat Earth.
Yeah, on a flat Earth,
understand.
on a flat
Richard
Earth, the
doesn't
prediction
understand the
is on a flat Earth, the prediction is that because I can see those stars of the Southern Cross all night, that I should then be able to see all stars within that radius, including Polaris.
You should be able to see all the stars, even though you can only see so far.
Yes, but I can see all the way across to those stars of the Southern Cross, all the way across the other side of the circle. Now that circle, if they're circling above us around Polaris, that circle that those stars of the Southern Cross exhibit is a lot further around, a lot further out. It's a certain radius out from Polaris. And I can see those stars anytime at night, even though they're right across the other side. So why can't I see Polaris, which is less distance away than those stars?
Wait, how high is Polaris?
He's not worried about Polaris right now. He's talking about how he can see the Southern Cross.
Well, his entire premise actually required him saying and invoking the location of Polaris. So yeah, he is talking about it.
He's in the southern hemisphere. He can't see Polaris. It's below the horizon.
Okay.
Hold up.
Oh, I'm an idiot, but you guys are talking about how when you get too far away, you can't see stars.
You're the one that says that shit, not us.
So you're saying basically I turn around and I'm looking over the other side of a curve.
We're trying to steelman your position with it, and you don't understand your own fucking
No, you're trying
position
to strawman it.
well enough.
It's no straw
We're
man,
trying
WITSIT.
to steelman you. We're trying to.
Okay,
We're trying to understand your position, and we're trying to show you how your position doesn't work.
Yeah, it actually does. Okay, so when you get further away from the north, you can see less of the sky to the north, dude.
WITSIT, you make that claim, but you don't have any evidence of it. Now,
okay, yeah, all evidence shows it.
When I'm trying to explain to you, you can't imagine. You're not actually.
Actually, when I get further away from the north and I look north, depending on where I am, depends on how much I can see in each direction of the north. I take time lapse all the time. You guys probably never do.
You never address the fact that he's looking at the southern sky. He doesn't care about the northern sky. Not really. He cares about.
Well, he invoked the northern sky.
No, wait till I'm done fucking talking. Okay, let's say he can see a star that's directly above somewhere on the opposite side of the flat Earth. However, on a globe Earth, it's not on the opposite side. It's in the southern hemisphere because there is a southern celestial sky and there's a northern celestial sky, and you haven't addressed that.
No, there's not. You're just saying that. So, in order to determine the north and south celestial sky, you need the 90-degree zenith angle, and you don't have it for either one.
No, you don't. That's a straw man.
No, it's not a straw man.
It's your misunderstanding of how the sky works. What's it?
You're building a straw man. That's an entire.
No, I'm not.
Massive straw man. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You're saying you need.
Wait, so are you saying you can know the exact north and south celestial pole without the 9 degrees zenith angle? I'm asking.
You're going off of a straw man.
I'm asking.
So you're trying to create an argument from a straw man. It doesn't work, man.
No, I'm asking you.
Same difference.
Okay, in order to know the celestial north and south pole, would you need to know the 9 degrees zenith angle?
No, absolutely not.
So you can just get a generalized idea kind of close to it?
Couldn't you notice the stars look different? I mean,
Yeah, the
that
stars
seems to be
do look different. Welcome to Flat Earth. Your perception of the stars is relative to your location away from the center. Wow.
It doesn't make any sense.
It does, literally.
Prove it.
Okay, look up in the sky and take time lapse every night like I do.
Prove it.
He lives in the southern hemisphere. It's going to look
demonstrated.
Demonstrate what? That the sky
he'll get circles around the southern
over top
celestial
of
pole.
us.
What's it? Why is he
you're
getting
not allowed
circles
to.
around the southern celestial pole?
Sorry, you're not allowed to. Sorry.
You don't even have to do it yourself.
It's a
You could
parallax,
just
just
look.
like a magnet. Just like a
You could just look at the
magnet
sky
or
that people have taken pictures of. Some people live in the southern hemisphere, some people live in the northern. You could just look at those
yeah,
two
counterclockwise
pictures.
and clockwise.
Yeah.
Well, they don't look the same.
Yeah,
though.
they're
It's
not
just
supposed to.
counterclockwise and
Of course they don't. It's a parallax, just like a magnet, a neodymium magnet. If you use a ferrocell, you'll see the same thing.
They're not just an inverse picture though. They're different skies.
That's the way you perceive it. It's the way you're looking at it.
Yeah, it's the
No,
angle
it
you
isn't.
look at it.
John,
Yes,
show
it is.
using some kind of light source. Show what the hell you're talking about. Not a magnet.
A light, dude. When you look at a magnet with ferrocell, that is light source.
This is tough.
The lights are the light source.
Yeah, you just, dude, just back up.
So that's not how that works.
Yeah, it
either.
literally is. Do you know even how ferrocell works? Then?
Come on, man. You gotta be better than that.
Oh, that's all you got?
There's tons of DIYs on how to make them. It's not really
Okay,
hard.
then you should know that they utilize reading light.
Yeah, lights
It has
around.
nothing
the
to do with
perimeter.
anything.
Not-
Why
Oh,
do we
yeah,
care
it
about
does.
ferrocells? They have nothing to do with the argument.
You know what it has to do with the argument? Is that the sky resets over top of the Earth. Okay?
You keep saying.
And yeah, okay.
Where-
And in
where do
order
those
to
other
actually.
stars?
What?
This isn't complicated. I don't know why you keep missing this. Even in the northern hemisphere, there are 12 zodiacs, 12 constellations that dominate the sky. That's how we came up with them, right?
Yeah, and in the south, you can't see all of them.
Hold on, pay attention.
No, you pay
I'm
attention.
not saying anything about the south. Where are the other 11 during the time that whatever month you're in, where that particular zodiac rules that month? Where are the other ones?
Outside of your perspective.
So actually, both of you have the zodiac wrong. The zodiac that we are currently in is the one that the sun is in, not the one that we can see most dominantly in the sky.
Okay, so you agree you don't actually have the zenith angle for North Celestial Pole, though? Or the south?
No one ever said anything about that with it.
Can you guys be honest? It is a missing part for your argument that you don't actually have the literal empirical evidence of the zenith angle on the North and South Celestial Pole, right?
Yeah, that hurts. Ouch.
You don't need a 90-degree zenith angle to find out where the celestial pole is.
Okay, so you agree that you don't have the actual
I don't
100% accurate celestial pole because you need a zenith angle.
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, that's just a fact.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.